93. Seniors.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, and everybody in there, like the video. We're going live right now.
Call Debbie at 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing?
Oh man, we got a lot to talk about on the show today. Oh my goodness.
South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll free 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-GO-GAIN-1. That's 1-888-GO-GAIN-1.
All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Brian. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. And man, do we got a lot to talk about today, so we're just going to jump right into it. You know, the Democrats are in a panic. They have no one. You may have seen Kamala Harris has hired a crisis team. She's had a crisis team. She doesn't do anything except nod in her head at agreement at a college student who's saying very anti-Semitic things about Israel. Oh, well, that's your truth. Oh, wow. You know, I've almost forgotten what Kamala looks like because I haven't seen her face in a long time, right? She's been in hiding for weeks. She's hired a crisis team. Joe Biden screwed up. He's got his own, he's got a member of his cabinet, the defense secretary. He's got his top generals calling him an incompetent liar. It's like, just not a good time. And their bench of people they have to run for office is pathetic. Do you know who the most popular member of Congress is among Democrats? Who do you think? The most popular among Democrats. Liz Cheney, who's a Republican, of course, a traitor Republican. Yeah, I know. Beatrice Arnold, we call her. Beatrice Arnold. To our listeners in the UK, that's a reference to Benedict Arnold, who you all probably think is a hero, but no, he's a traitor. And we have just a great bench of people. Of course, we've got President Trump himself, Governor Ron DeSantis, Governor Kristi Noem, and others. The great Matt Gaetz. Did you guys see Matt Gaetz with General Milli Vanilli yesterday? He held up that rag, the Woodward book, Peril. What happened to that sex investigation into Matt? I thought they were bringing Matt Gaetz down. They had this jailhouse snitch that had this whole prostitution scandal going on with Matt Gaetz. What happened to that? I guess it was fake news. And who do they got? They got nothing. They got nothing and nobody. They got weak. So the Democrats, they've practically given up on Ron DeSantis. I mean, he's just a perfect person. He's almost as perfect as Trump. And they've been trying to get things on Governor Ron DeSantis, who's at the top of the list to be President Trump's running mate in 2024. And I do believe that at the top of the list, Ron DeSantis is at the top of the list to be our second MAGA president in 2028. Of course, Trump is the first MAGA president. But Kristi Noem is where they've set their sights, and they've been after these lowlifes. They've been after Kristi Noem all week. The governess of South Dakota. Is that sexist? A governess? Is she a governess or a governor? What would be appropriate? Calling her governor is kind of like calling an actress an actor. But she's the governor of South Dakota. And they hate her. They hate her because she's young, hot, popular, tough, MAGA. So earlier this week, they had some strange story that her daughter couldn't get her real estate license, and she summoned all these people into the governor's office, and you know, a nonsense story. And now they got a new one. They got a new one claiming that Kristi Noem has had an affair with Corey Lewandowski. I'll get into the story because she's responded to this, Kristi Noem. But you know, here's the thing. They did this with Palin. They did this with Sarah Palin. Democrats freak out because our top Democrat women are attractive physically. People like them. People desire them. And they're tough, right? Kristi Noem, Sarah Palin. Who do they got? They got Hillary Clinton. You know, people like that. And we've got real women. We've got real women. But they have, they got, yeah, exactly. That's what they got. And they're very threatened. They're very threatened. And, they try to portray our popular Republican women as living a lifestyle of a Democrat woman, and that's not the case. Let me read this story. South Dakota governor or governess, I don't think she would mind being called a governess. She doesn't have all these hang-ups that these Democrat lady governors have. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem dismissed rumors that she was having an extramarital affair with Trump confidant Corey Lewandowski. She says this is total garbage and a disgusting lie that is rooted in sexism. Now, I know Corey Lewandowski's got another little scandal going on today. He's in the news. We'll get to that maybe later. Conservative news site American Greatness claimed to have multiple sources with direct knowledge that Noem, a rising star in the Republican Party, was in the midst of a sexual relationship with Lewandowski. These rumors are total garbage and a disgusting lie, Governor Noem said in a tweet Wednesday afternoon. These old, tired attacks on conservative women are based on a falsehood that we can't achieve anything without a man's help. That's exactly right. I love Brian, spelled B-R-Y-O-N. That's a different spelling of Brian, which I always thought was kind of cool. Mine's with a I. I love Brian. I'm proud of the God-fearing family we've raised together. Now I'm getting back to work. Governor Noem, she's 49. She's been married to her husband, Brian, since she was 20 years old. Lewandowski, age 48, has been married to Allison Hardy since 2005 and has 4 kids with her. American Greatness claims the affair had been going on for months and that Kristi Noem's chief of staff, Joshua Shields, had resigned due to Lewandowski's butting in. But the accusations came, both Noem and Lewandowski were each in the midst of their own separate controversies. Lewandowski on Tuesday was accused of sexually assaulting a Trump donor at a charity event in Vegas over the weekend, and there was a statement that came out from Pam Bondi, I read this morning, that the Trump organization has dropped Lewandowski again. Trashelle, which kind of looks like Trash L, Trashelle, Trashelle Odom, the wife of construction company executive John Odom, claimed in a statement that Lewandowski touched her repeatedly while seated next to her at the event, this Vegas event, followed her around, touched her legs and buttocks, and stalked her during the event. According to her statement, Corey Lewandowski repeatedly remarked about the size of his genitals, reported Politico. He also described his sexual performance and showed Odom his hotel room key. She said Lewandowski, whose lawyer blasted the claims as rumors used expletives while speaking about sex as he repeatedly approached her. The alleged conduct took place during an event at the Westgate Vegas Hotel for the Victoria's Voice Foundation, which focuses on substance abuse. The publication quotes 2 people who were there who said Odom appeared uncomfortable and that Lewandowski appeared to be intoxicated. One person said they saw Odom in tears at an after-party. Kristi Noem, meanwhile, is caught up in a Dimon report fighting that she summoned a meeting with officials in charge of her daughter's failed real estate license application, which was certified 4 months later. Noem's daughter, Cassidy Peters, then 26, was denied her application to become a certified real estate appraiser. Days after the license was denied, the governor called the state employee who ran the agency, the woman's direct supervisor and state labor secretary, for a meeting at her office, together with her daughter, the AP reported Monday. Sherry Brin, the head of the South Dakota Department of Labor and Regulation Appraiser Certification Program, and the state's labor secretary were all part of the meeting. Months later, Brin alleges in an age discrimination complaint she was pushed into retirement. The incident raises scandals. Well, I don't know about Lewandowski. Lewandowski has a bit of a history. He was accused by, who was that Candace Owens wannabe? The singer, who I thought was an awful singer, that was famous for wearing that MAGA dress to the Grammys a few years back. I've forgotten her name. She's kind of gone underground. Cannot remember her name now. Some of you remember. He was accused before by another woman, and I don't know what by her. I don't know what happened with that. But I'll tell you this. I believe Kristi Noem just like I believed Matt Gaetz. And, you know, I stood up for Matt Gaetz during that entire fake news slander against him. People warned me not to. I stood by him. I stand by him today. And I haven't heard about that story in a long time. And this is what's going on with Kristi Noem. And, you know, Democrats should be threatened by Kristi Noem. She's a real feminist. She's a real feminist, right? She's got a great marriage. She's got a family. She's a governor. She's tough. She's good looking. She does it all. Joy Vila, Joy Vila made an accusation against Lewandowski a couple years back. I don't know if that one's true or not. I don't know. You know, but I know this. I like Corey Lewandowski, and I don't know. I don't know. You know, people do things when they get drunk. Sometimes I don't judge a man necessarily based on what he does while he's severely intoxicated. You know, like Mel Gibson ran into some trouble with that cop in Malibu years ago. When people are drunk, things happen sometimes. You know, so I wouldn't want people to judge me based on things I've done when I've been intoxicated. But whatever, bring it on, bring it on. You know, and this is the deal. Okay, the Democrats they come in with these slanders about our great Republicans, whether it's President Trump or Matt Gaetz or now Kristi Noem. And it's shocking to them that these people are squeaky clean. They just assume that, you know, like all their Democrats, that they're people of low moral character and scummy, and that's just not the case. They did this with Sarah Palin. It didn't work. Now they're doing it with Kristi Noem. And what it's going to end up doing with Kristi Noem is making her more popular. All right, now, lots of stories we're going to get into today. Your calls are certainly welcome at 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. I am feeling better today. Yesterday I was out of it during the whole show yesterday. That post-nasal drip problem I have, but I'm all better today. No post-nasal drip today. We've got lots to talk about, too. Oh, man. So let me give out the number. Our number, 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Let's take our first break of the day. It's Thursday morning, September 30th, 2021. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. We'll be right back.
The hot weather, it's in the mid-90s in the middle of the day, and that's what the actual temperature is. The heat index, much higher than that. That means your air conditioner is going to work harder and harder, driving up your electric bill. And on the line, we have Scott from Cut My Kilowatts, who's going to save you big, big money on your electric bill. Tell them how you're going to do it, Scott.
Hey, Brian. Well, you know, we do it with the radiant barrier installation and making sure that none of your air conditioning ducts are leaking into your attic. But I have Rebecca on the line with me, who's a longtime Steve Kane listener, and we had the pleasure of going up and doing a whole attic package for her at her house on Wednesday of this week, and we put all new ducts in for her, radiant barrier and all new insulation, and she just wants to tell you how her experience was.
Good morning. I wanted to let you know that this morning, first of all, the people that came out, his crew were very, very polite, and they did the work. It's a very difficult job to go up in an attic, pull out all the old ducts, come in and put in all new ducts. It's extra additional ducts to make my system work better. I'm in the construction industry. I'm an architect, so I'm familiar you what the cost would be and how much time it takes to do everything. And let me tell you, I was very impressed, and my attic looks like a spaceship up there with all new dust. They took out the metal dust that was insulated and leaking on my ceiling, and they put in flex stuff, which is what we use now in the industry. But let me tell you, what I paid for the entire package should have cost just to remove the old ductwork and install new ductwork.
Steve Kane Show.
Everything for less than what I thought it was.
Well, that's amazing.
Hold on.
And when Scott from Camopaign
Steve Kane Show.
brings
Hold
that
on.
radiant barrier into your attic, it pays for itself because what it does, it cools off your ceiling, cools off your attic, keeps that hot Florida heat that's well over 100 degrees in your attic off of your air conditioning ducts, which means your air conditioner works less to keep your house cool and comfortable for you, which means you have lower electrical bills. It works. Listen, guys, give Scott at Cut My Kilowatts a call. His number's listed at stevekaneshow.com, as is his website if you miss it. His number, which rings directly to him, 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500. That's Scott from Cut My Kilowatts.
Seniors, Medicare open enrollment is quickly approaching. Make sure you get the right coverage. Call Debbie at I Will Advisors, 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWN.
All right, welcome back, guys. Yes, 20 minutes after the hour. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. There's some TV shows that I like scripted drama. I like the FBI shows on CBS. You guys know these shows? They have a new one now. There's FBI's Most Wanted, and now they have one that's FBI International, which I saw the pilot. That international one's not good. It's awful. But anyway, I like to watch regular scripted television programs to escape from the real drama, which is having a senile old corrupt coot running this country into the toilet, So you sort of got a little escapism. So, watch these crime shows. And, there's a liberal bias in most of these types of shows, but I usually tune it out. And last night as I was going to bed, I did something I don't know if I've ever done before. I shut off a show early on in it, not quite halfway through it, because it was so left-wing, anti-MAGA, I just couldn't stomach it. It was just really pissed me off. And that does not happen very often. It was on the FBI Most Wanted show, which aired a couple nights ago, but I was watching it on Hulu. On Hulu you get things a day late. And that show, the main guy in it is one of the doctors from Nip Tuck. And then they have this new character who's the most boring actress with zero personality I've ever seen, the girl from Man in the High Castle. Man in the High Castle first season was very good, but this one... But anyway, let me tell you what they did on FBI's Most Wanted this week, and it was just so disgusting, so over the line, so offensive. These FBI shows are like some of my favorite shows. I look forward to them every week, and I said to myself, I don't think I'm going to go back to them. And that's going to be very difficult because I've been watching them since the first episodes. They're kind of like Law and Order for the FBI. But anyway, the shows, I'm going to spoil the show, but again, can you spoil crap? Right? So, sorry. So FBI's Most Wanted this week on CBS begins with the crime. You're in a hotel lobby, there's a hotel concierge in Washington, D.C. A guy walks in wearing like jeans, a flannel shirt, and a baseball cap, and the brim, of course, is all frayed and everything. So, he's the redneck. And he walks in and he shoots dead the hotel concierge, this lady hotel concierge. So, and now he's wanted. And when he did it, he shot the hotel security guard who was moonlighting. He was an off-duty Parks police officer moonlighting, so he kills in the show a federal officer. So the FBI are looking for him, and they're trying to. They can't find a connection, and they go through the internet usage of this concierge that was murdered, and found that this was insane. Found that she was searching the internet because she was going through video of the January 6th Capitol breach, and also going through the video surveillance of the hotel the week before the Capitol breach, trying to identify guests in her hotel that were part of the Capitol breach, as they call it, the insurrection, and they found out about it and murdered her because of it. And of course, they're MAGA. They show them they're from West Virginia, of course, because that's West Virginia, driving around in pickup trucks and drinking beer and all this stuff. And I know. Can you believe? And as yeah, I know. And they interview the leader, one of the insurrectionist leaders in jail, who of course is a white supremacist, who is working with his brother MAGA white supremacist on the outside that take out these people that are trying to identify them. And then they show, I'm like, I can't, this is really making me sick, but sometimes these shows will redeem themselves, so I kept watching. And then the main characters, the FBI agents, watch the Capitol breach video and start talking about us, like we're part of an insurrection, and how, they interview this lead FBI agent that is searching for the insurrectionist. No one has been charged with insurrection. Everyone that went in that building was unarmed. The only person killed was an unarmed woman, Ashley Babbitt, by Capitol Police. And that was it for me. I turned it off. I told my wife, I said, I'm not going to watch this show anymore. This is just too much. No one's been charged with insurrection. You cannot have an insurrection without insurrectionist. To have an insurrection, it takes insurrectionist. When has there been an insurrection when people are completely unarmed, they go into a building and then leave shortly thereafter? No one was trying to overthrow the government. If they were trying to, well, except General Milley and Nancy Pelosi, okay? The Capitol breachers were not trying to overthrow the government. They were unarmed and they left. In fact, some of them were trying to get the Capitol Police to intervene and stop people from going in. But this is why I share this with you. This is something that we are going to have to deal with for the rest of our lives. The left, the media, the liberal intelligentsia are never going to let that go. They're always going to assign blame to us for that, call it an insurrectionist, and throw in white supremacist and all this stuff too. We're going to be dealing with this for the rest of our lives. So get used to it. Get prepared to tell them what I tell you all the time. No one's been charged with insurrection. You can't have an insurrection without insurrectionist. Okay, this is a very important thing to point out. But, that's the way it is. It's a reality that we're going to have to deal with. The liberals write the history, make the movies and TV shows, and there's going to be other TV shows, there'll be movies, there'll be books, and there'll be a media narrative from now until doomsday accusing Donald Trump of leading an insurrection. There was no insurrection. He led nothing that had to do with that. I'm not going to go into detail. We know what was behind it. They tried to do a replay a couple weeks ago, right? It's pretty disgusting. It really is disgusting. It's very difficult. But that's what they always do. The left were doing this to Republicans always. Okay, they did this to Reagan. They did this to Nixon. They've done it to, except Eisenhower. Eisenhower had a free pass. because of the World War II experience and everything. He kind of had a free pass. But every other Republican has dealt with this garbage, okay, from the left. And they always will. So get used to it. If you're new to politics, it's always been this way. But that's okay. That's okay. We're not going to allow them to define us. Right? I know they're in their minds, they've got something, but it is not true. All right, now we're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. Got a big announcement, huge announcement actually, from MyPillow. And I asked MyPillow to do this. I talked to Mike Lindell's office. I asked them to do this, and they did it. It's very nice. Mike Lindell and his office staff, his immediate people, they really do appreciate you and the Steve Kane Radio Show audience, because they make incredible offers. Now, this is amazing. Now, you've been hearing me for quite some time now talking about the MyPillow mattress topper. In fact, I wake up on that mattress topper every morning. I feel like I'm sleeping on a cloud. It's so comfortable, so soft, so perfect. It's just total serenity on this MyPillow mattress topper. Well, get this. There is a special on the MyPillow mattress topper that is out of this world. I saw this special, and I asked them to add us to it, and they did. And here's what you do. You go to mypillow.com, click on, make sure I get everything right here, because I want this is amazing. Listen to this. You go to mypillow.com. Okay, now our promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, now works on every single special, regardless of what it's called or says at mypillow.com. But go to mypillow.com, click on the television specials. Click on the television specials. Now, some of you watch us on TV, because some of you on YouTube watch us on your television. So this is TV too, not just radio and everything else. But go to mypillow.com, click on the television specials, and get this. You, with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, can get the MyPillow mattress topper for 50% off. 50% off. It's been 30% off. Now, 50% off with the promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. So go to, I know, it's a great deal, isn't it? MyPillow.com, go right there, click on the television specials, and you will see it. 50% off the MyPillow mattress topper. And again, it comes in every size. Twin, Twin XL, Full, Queen, RV Queen, King, California King, Split King. 50% off with the promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. This will not be a long-time special. I don't know when it's going to end, but this will not be a long-term special. I'm telling you, the deal is too good. So go to mypillow.com, click on the television specials, using the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, and get the MyPillow mattress topper for 50% off. It's an incredible deal. All right, we'll finish up the break and be back. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, my name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta.
It's a good deal.
Roofing and Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry since 1982. We are state of Florida certified roofing and general contractors focusing on residential and commercial roofing, impact windows, and building restoration. The 2021 hurricane season is upon us. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or if your roof is older than 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Call us at 954-604-4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
This is Brian Craig. I've been telling you about the great deals and incredible customer service at Friendly Tire on both new tires and used tires. One of our listeners, Antonio, went to Friendly Tire and called to share with us his experience of buying used tires at Friendly Tire in Margate. Good morning, you're on the radio.
Hey, yes, Brian, I want to give you a quick testimony about the tire place up in Margate, Friendly Tire. Friendly Tire, everything you said it would
for you, man. I went up there and got me some used tires. And when I went up there, man, he was very courteous. My whole family.
Good morning, everyone. Make sure you subscribe and everyone like the video if you don't mind.
Mike's break out, man.
Well, what's your name?
Antonio.
All right, Antonio. Hey, I'm glad we could save you and your family lots of money on tires at Friendly Tire.
Oh, no doubt, man. Thanks so much, man.
Do what Antonio did. Stop into Friendly Tire and find incredible deals on both new and used tires. Give Friendly Mike a call right now. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. And Mike will give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida.
I am starving.
Call toll-free 1-855.
Got 2.5 hours till I can get something to eat. Got a busy morning, too. I got a big guest on my podcast today. Won't want to miss it. Good morning yet again, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show. Okay, I was just looking. Newsbusters actually has an article on this CBS FBI's Most Wanted MAGA slander episode they had this week that I was watching last night. Let me read this article because they have some details. In the episode titled Patriots, oh my goodness, that was the name of the episode. In the episode titled Patriots, of CBS's FBI Most Wanted, a very poor-looking white man shoots a female concierge point blank in a D.C. hotel along with other bystanders in the lobby. It turns out I didn't catch this because I was getting so pissed. It turns out the hotel concierge is the daughter of a police officer injured in the Capitol Hill riot. Oh my goodness. I missed that part. Then they write here, Hollywood's back to caring about police officers injured in riots. If they'd only shown such concern last season, when every episode on television vilified cops, ignored assaults on officers, and glorified violent BLM and Antifa protesters. Yeah, that's Newsbusters for you, right on the money. After getting the murder case, the FBI agents talk about how they felt that day. Here's the dialogue, the main FBI agent. It's easy to, as they're watching the Capitol breach footage, it's easy to forget what we all witnessed that day. Then the other agent says, or what we pretend never happened. Oh my goodness. The agents get into the murder concierge's phone, discover she was researching J6 names on the FBI website. According to this episode, the new threat is military veterans who live in red states or red counties. When the FBI agents go to FBI headquarters in D.C. to discuss a file on the men, ID'd from the January 6th fugitive pages, the agents make clear who Americans should fear. He served in Afghanistan. In the Ohio National Guard, goes the dialogue. We must trust these guys to keep us safe. Now they want to start a civil war. And they're doing what all insurgents do after a setback. Reconstitute, recruit, rearm. Like the kidnapping plot against the governor of Michigan, one of the agents says. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I know. That's what happens, That's the liberals. All right, now, Pelosi is really, I know, it's disgusting. I know it's disgusting. I know. Isn't it bad enough? They got the whole liberal news cycle. They got to spoil everything. All right, so Nancy Pelosi's really flipping out. She's flipping out. And she's flipping out because, of course, she can't come through with the donors with this spending bill. The Democrats are in a complete meltdown over this. Let me play this clip. Let me see here. And see if anyone can make sense of this. This is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard any public official say. I don't want to say the dumbest, but it's pretty close. This is Pelosi yesterday.
Not about a dollar amount. The dollar amount, as the president said, is zero. This bill will be paid for.
Okay, it's zero. Can someone explain to me, what is it, 3.5 trillion? What was the budget when Ronald Reagan was president? Wasn't it like $1 trillion? And that was the whole federal budget, everything, including the military? This is $3.5 trillion. How does something that involves $3.5 trillion in spending cost nothing? Can someone explain that to me? It's paid for. It costs nothing. Well, wait a minute, it's $3.5 trillion. No, it costs nothing. Oh, okay, it costs nothing. How is that even possible? And that makes sense to these people. Now, now Sinema, Sinema is really amazing. She was summoned by Biden yesterday. I didn't hear anyone ask Jen Psaki if he sniffed her hair, but Sinema, they didn't buy her off yesterday, did they? Unless it's happened since I went on the air. Sinema is still standing strong. And she's interesting because Sinema, did you see her before she had a makeover? She was very frumpy, not very attractive, and then she had this huge makeover, and she hired, a stylist, got a whole new wardrobe and everything else, and now she's all hot and important and in the Senate. Was she wearing her go-go boots when she went to the White House? Remember when she wore the go-go boots? Oh my gosh. So strange. But Sinema, they haul her into the White House yesterday to try to buy her off. Like they bought off Bernie Sanders when Obama got Bernie Sanders to support Hillary back in 2016. That's what they do. But so far, they have not bought Sinema off. I don't know if she'll be able to withstand this. I don't know. But the coven of the View, because it certainly is a coven. If you don't know what a coven is, just Google it and you'll get the reference. The coven over at the View, they're very upset at Sinema. That's right. In particular, Joy Behar. Now, Joy Behar, she's supposed to be a comedian. I've never heard her tell a joke, and she's never funny. She always seems pissed off and angry and very serious. But these are the ladies of the Coven of the View. Mostly you hear Joy Behar, and they're talking about Sinema refusing to vote in favor of this quadrillion-dollar spending bill that they're trying to push through. Listen to this.
But the Democrats have the numbers to make it happen. But Manchin and Sinema are standing in their way.
Especially Sinema.
They call themselves Democrats, and they will be the ruination of this nation. Those two. First of all, Joe Manchin is never going to vote for climate change things because he gets $500,000 a year from coal production. Kristen Sinema is...
Now, by the way, coal production is what is powering the cameras and lights and equipment in the studio of The View. New York City, the electricity is powered by coal production. So, and the lights in Joy Behar's house in New York City. I don't know why people are so against coal. Coal's awesome. We're the Saudi Arabia of coal.
They will be the ruination of this nation. Those two. First of all, Joe Manchin is never going to vote for climate change things because he gets $500,000 a year from coal production. Kristen Sinema she went to some kind of I don't know what it is. She went to a fundraiser scheduled this week with business lobbying.
Oh, hear that? She's drooling. Did you hear all that slobber come out of Joy Behar's mouth?
She went to some kind of I don't know what it is. She went to a fundraiser scheduled this week with...
Hear it? Maybe she's a lizard. Maybe she's a reptile. I don't know. Joy Behar. She's all upset at Sinema.
I don't know what it is. She went to a fundraiser scheduled this week with business lobbying groups that fiercely oppose Biden's social and climate spending bill. They don't want their taxes to be raised, and she's on their team. These people are destroying the country, in my opinion. We are so in trouble in this country. I don't know if people understand how dire the situation is. If Joe Biden loses, if the Democrats lose, the Republicans, who are so corrupt right now, and we all know that, they will move in. Trump will run around in 2024. He might win because of all the cheating that...
That's right, he'll win.
...this happened. Manchin and Sinema must be brought to task. They are the enemies right now of the democracy, as you pointed out before.
Wow. Manchin and Sinema are the enemies of democracy. See, in Joy Behar and the ladies of The View, in a democracy, you listen to what their leader says, and then you vote accordingly with a rubber stamp. Democracy to her is not doing what your constituents in your state want you to do as a United States Senator, but doing what you're told by the president of your party, Joe Biden. And if you don't do what the leader tells you to do, if you do what your constituents want, you are an enemy of democracy, because democracy is now just a dictatorship. Enemies of democracy. You know what you're an enemy to, Joy Behar? Television. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You know, when they cast this cast of characters, I knew someone that was a guest on The View many years ago, and they told us that they had so many filters on the camera lenses on The View, like they got the Vaseline, the filters, and everything. You know, high definition television is the enemies of these women. You know, Margaret Hamilton's witch in The Wizard of Oz, you know, what her threat was water. You pour water on her, wicked witch, you know, big trouble. On the Coven of The View, it's not water. I love that nose. It's high definition 4K television. And they must be in a panic because people are getting the 5K sets now. Could you imagine being Joy Behar and knowing that every day you're going to be on huge televisions in 4 and 5K? Oh my gosh, I'd be miserable too. Good morning, you're on the radio. Hey, Richie.
I listened. Good morning to you. I listened to Joy Behar, and you got to let me find out what high school she went to, what school she went to, so all my grandchildren and all the grandchildren all over the country and all the people. Don't send your kids to the school, because that is the dumbest woman I've ever seen in my lifetime. For her to even get 5 seconds of airtime, that tells you that TV is a screwed up mess. She is so disgusting. She doesn't have any brain in her head, nothing between the ears. I listened to Mark Levin. He was on Hannity last night, and he broke down. I think you're missing something too here. It's not. Levin said the amount of money will bankrupt the country, but it's what's in this bill. And he started reading what's in this bill. If America, it's actually 2,700 pages. And they get things. They try to slip in immigration again. And they try to get the parliamentarians to throw it out. There's also in there a tax on mileage tax on your cars and trucks.
That's right.
They've got so many things in there that is.
Yeah. They're going to turn everyone's private vehicle into an Uber, to a taxi. Yeah, you're going to pay them by the mile.
The IRS is going to be looking at your bank accounts. They're going to go over all your transactions. They're going to be snooping, and whatever you do, your whole life will be completely owned by them.
Yeah.
Can't you see with the mandates now what they're doing? This is really a gross incompetence, and it's also power grab against the American people. She's an idiot. You want to ruin the country? If they cut this price of this bill down and anybody votes for it, we're still screwed, because what's in it is in this school.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, you know, when these bills come up, I don't talk about them too much, because we don't have any influence over Congress. They're all owned by the donors, and I don't get myself worked up over things we have no control. All we can do with these spending bills are gripe, because they're going to do what they do. And I got to tell you, Nancy Pelosi's been incoherent lately, losing her mind. It's because the donors are in a meltdown mode, putting extreme pressure on them.
Universal income. They're going to be giving people checks for the rest of their life.
That's right.
Just for nothing. What is this all about?
Well, not nothing. You know, you have to have allegiance to the Democrat Party.
That's it. You're going to get a check. And you're going to get free.
Yeah, well, it's like they used to tell the seniors that if you voted Republican, you were going to lose your Social Security. Now they want to tell regular, younger people that they'll lose their monthly stipend from the government if they vote Republican. Yeah.
Listen, real quick, they're so devious that no matter what happens with this bill, they're a loser. If it doesn't go through, they're a loser. If it goes through and the American people feel this, open borders is in this also. I mean, if completely amnesty for everyone, I mean, the bill is so outrageous that when people...
Yeah, but don't worry. Didn't you hear Nancy? It doesn't cost anything. It doesn't cost anything. But how can that even make sense to them? How can they say that with a straight face? It doesn't cost anything. It's paid for, whatever that means.
Well, when they raise the debt, if it doesn't cost anything, why do they have to raise the debt to it?
Mm-hmm.
If it's a wash, why would they have to do that?
Yeah.
Everybody. It's just the bill itself. What's in the bill is going to kill this country forever. It's not.
Well, I don't know. I'm hoping that they don't buy off cinema. They're trying to buy. Could you imagine what they're offering cinema? Oh my goodness. I bet Biden offered her everything yesterday.
What about 10 Republicans that are sitting in the House of Representatives that are going to go along with this crap?
Mm-hmm.
What this bill? This bill it's what's in this thing that's got me crazy.
Yeah, but we got to pass it so we can know what's in it, right?
Well, you're going to find. We're all going to find out what's in it, and it's going to be a bloodbath in November. Trust me.
Yeah, yeah. This is what I think about this. Okay, there's two reasons I don't get upset about the bill. One, it's out of our control, right? Because the donors own the Congress. But the other thing is this. This is going to turn the few people that are still in support of the Democrats against them so hardcore. This is going to firm up our midterm election sweep. This is the worst. This bill is worse than Obamacare. I mean, Obamacare was federalizing 20% of the U.S. economy, and as bad as that was, this is 1,000 times worse than Obamacare.
Completely. And let me ask you this question, and I would like one Democrat to ask. The country's basically 50-50 right now. Who gives them the right to transform our country into something that we couldn't even recognize? And Joy Behar, by the way, take climate change and you know where to shove it.
Yeah.
Good morning.
All right, take care. Now, listen, if you're on hold, don't go anywhere, all right? I'm going to go back to the phones after the break. Those of you on hold, stand by. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll be back.
Brian Craig here. Conservative Doug called me up live on the air to tell me about his experience at
Steve Kane Show. Hey, hold on. Make sure you like the video, guys. If you're new, subscribe.
Half the price at Friendly Tire. Wow.
Half the price, and not only that, his tires, which nobody, the tires I've been looking at, had any mileage guarantee. His is 60,000 mile warranty. So they're not only half the price, they're twice as good.
So you're a repeat customer over there at Friendly Tire. You bought new tires, right? So you bought new tires, because they also sell used tires, starting at just $30 for most sizes. But you bought new tires, and they were half the price at Friendly Tire than at the other tire shops around town. That is phenomenal, and came with a 60,000 mile warranty on the tires. That's great. And of course, Friendly Tire, they never charge you to mount the tire, balance the tire, or dispose of your old tires. The prices that they give you are out the door and on the road. And
everybody should go there. I don't know how anybody can buy tires anyplace else. This guy is the best prices.
That's right. That's right. Listen, give Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire a call. His number, 954-977-9445. He'll give you a quote right over the phone, 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net, or you can just stop right in. The address is listed at stevekaneshow.com. 5415 Northwest 15th Street in Margate, and that's just a little north of Coconut Creek Parkway on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Well, Conservative Doug, thanks so much, and I'm glad you got such a great deal on your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Hi folks, Dr. Lopez here, now with the BioStation West Delray. At BioStation West Delray, we continue to offer the highest level of experience and care you can find in the realm of hormone pellet and hormone replacement therapies. But that's just the start. We offer a full array of age management modalities, including state-of-the-art treatments for erectile dysfunction, sexual dysfunction in women, physical and sexual rejuvenation, and quite frankly, any sign or symptom of aging that you may have. And don't forget, we offer the complete array of all cosmetic, modalities, including Botox, fillers, lasers, etc., better energy, better sleep, better performance, and looks to die for. If this all sounds good to you, call us at 561-320-8893. That's 561-320-8893.
The Steve Kane 2022 MAGA Cruise is a go. Leaving January 21st on the Celebrity Equinox out of Port Everglades in Fort Lauderdale. Join Steve Kane and me, Brian Craig, for 9 nights cruising the Caribbean. We will stop in Grand Cayman Island, Bonaire, Curacao, and Aruba. Reserve your cabin right now and call Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot. 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779.
Oh man, we are back 7 before 7. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Good morning, Brian. How are we doing today?
Oh, hey, Wisconsin Gary. What's up?
You know, it's funny because if you really look into it, I think it was Trending Politics that had something that they tried to sneak into that bill there, that they would charge businesses anywhere between $70,000 to $700,000 for those who violate occupational safety and health administration. So, you know, a lot of these people that are talking about this bill that say, oh, it's really good and it doesn't cost anything, you really need to look at that bill.
Yeah, and by the way, that they're gonna bankrupt businesses, and that fine includes businesses that don't require vaccinations for employees. Yeah, so you'll be fined out of business.
But if you really read the bill there, like Richie touched on quite a few points about carbon emissions and everything else, I mean, if you really want change in your world and want to pay more in taxes when they say this does not cost anything, that is a bunch of crap, because it really is going to cost us, the taxpayer, way more money in the long run. And not to mention put a lot of even the trucking companies out of business, because if they're going to want to go electric, how the heck are we going to get the product there, especially like in areas where there's mountains and all that other stuff? You need to have a diesel-powered engine in order to control.
Well, you know, I was talking to someone who's a car salesman at BMW, and they were telling me they get a ton of trade-ins on Teslas, which really surprised me. And I asked why, and they said because the mileage isn't far enough. It takes too long to charge them. You know, they're talking about making semi-trucks electric. My goodness, how are you going to do a long haul on a charge? And how long does it take to charge an electric semi to pull a trailer that's heavily loaded? The technology.
Pounds worth.
Yeah, the technology doesn't exist to make that practical.
They're making the trucks. There are some trucks, and then I heard at one point in time, probably about a year ago, like FX, FedEx, and all them guys were starting to buy those trucks. They put in orders already, and
that's for tax deductions. You know, when with regular vehicles, regular cars, you know, that are powered by gasoline, and the miles per gallon that are advertised and you see on the sticker, that's without the air conditioning on. A lot of people don't know that. They, you know, and they do things to try to goose it up. Whenever you hear the mileage on these trucks, it's not carrying a load. It's without a load. Yeah. Yeah, like I saw one of the big pickup trucks that I don't remember which one, like a Dodge Ram type. I saw advertised the other day that was electric, and in the commercial, it may not be Dodge Ram, but it was a truck like that, and the guy's loading up like concrete blocks in the back. I'm like, well, how far is he going to drive with that load? Come on.
Like some of these trucks that they do have what they call CNG trucks or LNG, which is liquid natural gas. I mean, there's already trucks that have been out on the market already for at least a couple of years. I've driven a couple of them, but I mean, it's like, even that, you can't even hardly go far. If you're doing a Midwest run or something within 11, 12 hours, you can on a full tank, but I mean, you got about 2,400 pounds of a liquid bomb or compressed gas.
Well, you know, I wanted a Tesla because I thought they were pretty cool. I looked at the Teslas at the mall. And the one I want, I can't afford. That SUV, it's $80,000 base price. And I was watching Casey Neistat, who's a big YouTuber. I'm a big fan of Casey Neistat, if any of you guys know Casey Neistat. But he has a Tesla, and he was driving to San Francisco to see his son, and he had to stop along the way to charge his car. He didn't say how long it took, but it took forever. He brought like workout equipment. He's doing a workout. He's doing this. He's doing that. I mean, when I'm driving somewhere, I stop for gas. It's 5 minutes. 5 minutes for gas, and I'm pumping it up while I'm going to the men's room, and I'm on the road again. You know, this thing of pulling over and waiting for, I don't know how long it takes to charge these things up. It's just, for a full charge, maybe. That just doesn't work for me.
Like a lot of times for me to fill up on a truck, it depends upon the fuel pump, depends upon if there's a long waiting line. You know, sometimes for me it can take me 7 minutes to fill up because of this truck that I have is barely 200 gallons, where my other truck was 300 gallons. You know, and it depends upon how quick the pumps are and how long you're in and out of there. Sometimes it takes me 3 minutes. Sometimes it'll take me almost nearly an hour to just.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I hate those pumps that they go so darn slow. But you know, here's the thing: green technology is not practical. It doesn't work, but the green companies donate money to the Democrats, and a lot of Democrats, like Nancy Pelosi, own stock in these companies. So that's why they promote them.
One thing I want to add too is like with New York, because you did touch up on Joy Behar. You know, there was a coal plant in Berkeley, New York, and there was one in Somerset. Both of those have now, that the last I heard, have closed. So I don't know where New York is going to be getting their electricity.
Well, maybe they get it nuclear now. Maybe they get it nuclear in New York now. They're getting electricity either from coal-fired plants or nuclear. And they're against nuclear plants too. Yeah, they could be getting coal plant. Yeah, they could be getting electricity from coal plants in other states. That's true, because New York City is right on the border there. Who knows? But there's nothing.
We used to have a nuclear plant, two places in Wisconsin, Point Beach, and there was another place up by Kewanee. Now those plants both have closed down since then, and we've had multiple area coal plants around Wisconsin that actually.
There has never been in the United States. There has never been a nuclear-powered meltdown. People think 3 Mile Island. 3 Mile Island, by the way, which was 40 years ago, over 40 years ago, there was no meltdown in 3 Mile Island either. There has never been a meltdown in the United States. We have a nuclear power plant right up the road from us here in South Florida. Never heard a peep from it. All right, Gary, got to run. All right, take care. All right, it's 7:01. We'll take our break for the top of the hour. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll be right back.
Got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
This is Brian.
Jacqueline, $20 super chat. Thank you. Everyone, thank Jacqueline. Thank you, Kathy and Brian. This chat room and I respect and I appreciate you. God bless. Well, thank you. And everyone, thank Jacqueline.
With us his experience of buying used tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Good morning, you're on the radio.
Hey, yes, Brian, I want to give you a quick testimony about the tire place up in Margate, Friendly Tire. Friendly Tire is everything you said it would be, man. I went up there and got me some used tires, and when I went up there, man, he was very courteous. My whole family's going around, man. It's everything you said it was going to be, man. I appreciate you for that, man, and Mike's a great guy, man.
Well, what's your name?
Antonio.
All right, Antonio. Hey, I'm glad we could save you and your family lots of money on tires at Friendly Tire.
Oh, no doubt, man. Thanks so much, man.
Do what Antonio did. Stop into Friendly Tire and find incredible deals on both new and used tires. Give Friendly Mike a call right now. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. And Mike will give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate.
Traveling, you need a COVID test? Maybe you need a COVID test for work or school.
Stop by any lab test now of Boca or any lab test now of Coral Springs. They offer all the COVID testing panels you need at the lowest prices, including the antibody test. Results in 15 minutes. Any lab test now of Boca is located in the Sandalwood Plaza, where Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsborough on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Call 561-237-5009. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University Drive in Ramblewood, near the Coral Square Mall in Coral Springs. Call 954-906-5983. Make sure to tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
It's here, the hot weather. It's in the mid-90s in the middle of the day, and that's what the actual temperature is. The heat index, much higher than that. That means your air conditioner is going to work harder and harder, driving up your electric bill. And on the line, we have Scott from Cut My Kilowatts, who's going to...
I'm going to read through this article of the about the brig where they're keeping Lieutenant Colonel Scheller, who spoke up against the Afghan withdrawal. They got him... They're keeping him in a brig with that's reserved for suspected murderers. What are they? I mean, give me a break.
For her at her house on Wednesday of this week, and we put all new ducts in for radiant barrier and all new insulation. And she just wants to tell you how her experience was.
Good morning. I wanted to let you know that this morning, first of all, the people that came out, his crew were very, very polite, and they did the work. It's a very difficult job to go up in an attic, pull out all the old ducts, come in and put in all new ducts. It's extra additional ducts to make my system work better. I'm in the construction industry. I'm an architect, so I'm familiar with what the cost could be and how much time it takes to do everything. And let me tell you, I was very impressed. And my attic looks like a spaceship up there with all new ducts. They took out the metal duct that was insulated and leaking on my ceiling, and they put in flex stuff, which is what we use now in the industry. But let me tell you, what I paid for the entire package should have cost just to remove the old ductwork and install new ductwork, and I got everything for less than what I thought.
Well, that's amazing. And when Scott from Cut My Kilowatts brings that radiant barrier into your attic, it pays for itself, because what it does, it cools off your ceiling, cools off your attic, keeps that hot Florida heat that's well over 100 degrees in your attic off of your air conditioning ducts, which means your air conditioner works less to keep your house cool and comfortable for you, which means you have lower electrical bills. It works. Listen, guys,
Steve Kane Show.
Cut My Kilowatts a call. His number's listed at SteveKaneShow.com, as is his website if you miss it. His number, which rings directly to him, 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500. That's Scott from Cut My Kilowatts.
I'm sitting down, which I don't do often. I use a standing desk all day too, so I stand here, I stand all day. So every once in a while, I'll sit down. I meant to wear my MyPillow slippers today, and I forgot to put them on, so I'm wearing my regular Vans, and my feet hurt a little bit because I'm in my Vans.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. You call the show toll-free.
I don't like sitting down because I feel like I should be playing a guitar when I'm sitting in the chair. It's awkward. All right, welcome back, everyone. Hour number 2 has begun, 6 minutes after 7 o'clock in the morning. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. I was just reading during a break, and I'm going to share it with you now. Lieutenant Colonel Scheller, he's the Marine Lieutenant Colonel who spoke up against the deadly withdrawal from Afghanistan, who's in the brig, and they got him in a brig that is god-awful. I'm going to share this with you, but I want to first say this. You might be wondering, why is he in the brig still? They arrested him, okay. Why didn't they just let him out? They don't want him out while Milley has been testifying this week, and the Defense Secretary, and that frumpy Marine Corps general. They just don't want... That Marine Corps general, if I saw that Marine Corps general as frumpy as he was in that uniform, I would think he was stolen valor. I've never seen such a wimpy, out-of-shape Marine Corps general. But I believe they arrested Lieutenant Colonel Scheller to keep him away from the public during the congressional testimony this week. Listen to this, though. This is terrible what they've done to this guy. He is without question a political prisoner. We have political prisoners in the United States. Some of them are from the Capitol breach. Dinesh D'Souza was one. Listen to this. A veteran U.S. Marine who criticized, this is in the Daily Mail, who criticized Biden's chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan is being held in pretrial confinement in a North Carolina brig. His mother is questioning whether he's been treated as a political prisoner for criticizing the country's military leadership. Lieutenant Colonel Stuart Scheller, age 40, has been locked away at the Camp Lejeune brig since Monday, is scheduled to make his first court appearance tomorrow, Friday. Listen to this. He is being kept in an area normally reserved for suspected murderers. Scheller was 3 years from retirement when he came out public, so they have him in there with murderers or suspected murderers. And these are the worst murderers of all because some of these are Marines. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine that's got to be like the toughest place you could possibly be. You know, that's what they did to Dinesh D'Souza. He was convicted of a white-collar crime, and they put him in a prison block with murderers. Remember that? It was in his movie, Hillary's America. I can't believe. And that's what they're doing to him. Why do you think that is? Meanwhile, they let John Hinckley out of any type of supervised anything. Oh, my goodness. This story of the lieutenant colonel is barely even in the news, and that he's being held in a prison block. He should have been out. They arrested him Monday, should have been out by Tuesday, awaiting trial, or whatever. They put him in with murderers? Where's this in the media? 1-888-GO-CANE-1, that's our number, toll-free call. Conservative Doug. Hey, Doug.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. You know, the country, I can't believe what's going on. You know, first of all, they make a bill that's 2,700 pages long. The Constitution is, 4 or 5 pages long, runs the whole country, and now they want to make it 25. So nobody can...
Yeah.
You know, they say the country's going to hell. I think that's what's going on. I think there's all evil taking over. I'm not one of the religious quackos, but, man, what else could it be? Has everybody gone insane? What? I can't believe this. What's going on in this country? We're being destroyed in 8 months, 9 months, whatever it is. And... you know, Dan Bongino said something I thought was pretty good. He says, you know, the mega people are like holding a beach ball underwater. It's trying to come up, and if it doesn't come up, we're really in trouble. But
yeah, you know, I saw Bongino on the 5 last night. That jacket he was wearing, he looked like, I don't know what that was, a Dick Tracy villain or something the Riddler would wear. You know, in Batman, it was a very strange jacket he was wearing. I couldn't really hear what Bongino was saying because the jacket he was wearing on the 5 was so distracting. Well, you know, what you have is we have a bunch of tyrants that are running the country. That's just the way of it. And they arrested this lieutenant colonel because Milley and the defense secretary are testifying in Congress this week, and they didn't want him out there available for interviews or comment while that was going on. And to put him in a brig filled with suspected murderers, my goodness.
They overreact, and they just do this on purpose to try to teach everybody, you do what we tell you, or you're going to be punished.
Mm-hmm. That's what they do. It is sick.
One other thing you mentioned about the Tesla, you know, to change the batteries in a Tesla costs thousands and thousands of dollars. So everybody finds out, I need batteries. They want to get rid of the car. This is what's going on.
I haven't heard anything good about a Tesla. Someone in my family has a Tesla, and they used to have the Toyota electric car. Then they got the Tesla, and they've had nothing but problems with it, including a leak of like when it rains, they get wet. You know, it's kind of, I don't know. Maybe Tom Laporte at Laporte Contracting can fix the Tesla roofs, because that seems to be a new area. I don't know. All right, Doug, take care. Thanks for the call. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Hey, Brian. Good morning.
Hey, Nick in Baltimore. How you doing?
Hey. Oh, hey, how you doing? I'm doing okay. You know, this whole thing with this lieutenant colonel is being held in the brig. That's tantamount to torture, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, our terrorists in Guantanamo Bay are being treated better than he is.
Of course. You know, and you got the January 6th people, they're being tortured, held without representation. You know, I don't know what's going on in this country. Well, like, we all know what's going on in this.
Well, I'll tell you what's happened, okay? You know, gays came out of the closet with AIDS. AIDS, as crazy as this sounds, is what brought gays out of the closet as a group. If AIDS never happened, I don't think gays would be out today like they are. And what's going on with the Democrats right now? Trump has brought them out of the closet, you know, and they've come out of the closet as what they really are: tyrants, dictators. They're not, you know, that's just what they are, you know.
And you just mentioned Hinckley. You know, hey, they're paroling Sirhan.
You know, I thought that was a joke, and it's happening. Yeah, I mean, what the hell? What the hell? You know, and John Hinckley, John Hinckley's been out of jail for a while, but he you know, they let him move home with mom, but he's been under supervision. Now, no supervision for John Hinckley, and he can travel wherever the hell he wants.
Free man.
You know, and I mean, think about it. I mean, he shot Reagan, he shot the lady cop, and he shot James Brady. And I, you know what, I wonder about this, and I'm serious about this. I wonder what Jodie Foster thinks. You know, he was stalking her, and, you know, I would imagine she's a victim too, you know, Jodie Foster with John Hinckley. And I would imagine she's pretty damn scared right now.
Yes. You know, James Brady eventually died from his injuries. Mm-hmm. In effect, I mean, he murdered James Brady.
I would say, and destroyed his life, you know, and, you know, if it weren't for the Sirhan release, I would say, do you think they would do this if he, you know, but of course that's the, you know, Bobby Kennedy. Where is the logic in letting Sirhan out? What, I mean, what the hell? What is that about? I don't understand any of this.
Lost this country ever since this guy got in, Brian. I'm sorry. Ever since the Democrats have gotten in, we haven't had a good day. Everything, it just turned upside down, and I don't know how we're going to turn it around. I think Trump's the only one that can do it. And I'm hoping and praying that he makes it.
You know what I wonder? You know, Sirhan in the news, you know, now, obviously, I was not alive in 1968, but wasn't he Palestinian? Isn't Sirhan Palestinian? And Muslim? You know, you never hear that mentioned, and I've never really gotten a good idea of what his motivation was.
What I recall, it was never really clear. It had to do with the Palestinian thing, but it wasn't very. It was very muddy. He just seemed like a lone creep.
I don't know if I buy that, but you know, I mean, Bobby Kennedy was a Democrat and had a lot of problems, but he was so responsible. Right? You know, there's when Martin Luther King was killed, and Bobby Kennedy came out and said, you know, someone in my family was killed by a white man. You know, blacks that was amazing because blacks were getting ready to have a revolt when King was shot, and Bobby Kennedy came out and said that, and that saved a lot of lives.
You just raised one more, just for a couple more seconds. You raised a good point because that's what you had back then. You had responsibility among these leaders. Today, there's no responsibility either by the leaders or in the media. You have them inflaming stuff. Look at Maxine Waters. Look at Al Sharpton, who's a creation of Morton Downey Jr., by the way.
Yeah, and you know, Bobby Kennedy Jr. is being canceled all over the internet, and there's got to be a connection to this Sirhan business. Why all of a sudden he's being? I know they've got all kinds of excuses, but that his father's murderer is being released from lockup. He's and he's being canceled at the same time.
Point. I want you to go back when you get a chance, and everybody out there listening should go back and pull up some old interviews of Robert F. Kennedy on the Merv Griffin Show and other programs. If you listen to him speak, he was saying exactly the same thing that Trump is saying.
Yeah.
About that.
That's crazy. Oh, Merv Griffin? I'll go back. Those Merv Griffin shows, I think, are on Hulu. And I was a fan of Merv Griffin. I used to watch Merv Griffin when I was a kid, and I've gone back and watched some of those interviews on Hulu. He was pretty damn good. He was very, very good, Merv Griffin. Well, I'll go back and in the closet, unfortunately. I'll go back and look for the Bobby Kennedy Merv Griffin interview. But yeah, all right, Nick, take care. Thanks for calling. Nick in Baltimore, always interesting content. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. We're going to take our first break of the second hour. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll be right back with your calls after this.
Hi, my name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry since 1982. We are state of Florida certified roofing and general contractors focusing on residential and commercial roofing, impact windows, and building restoration. The 2021 hurricane season is upon us. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or if your roof is older than 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Call us at 954-604-4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beaten. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van at the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65.
Yeah, Merv Griffin. I'm talking about this for the first time I ever saw Jerry Seinfeld. He was on Merv Griffin doing his stand-up act. And this was before Seinfeld was a TV show, obviously. This was in the 80s. I was like in middle school, maybe high school. And I liked it. He told all these jokes. It was so long ago Ronald Reagan was president, because he told this joke about Ronald Reagan. He said, President Reagan's 75 years old, however old he was. And he has his finger on the button. My grandfather's 75 years old, and we won't let him have his finger on the button of the TV remote control. I thought it was very funny. Well, this guy is hilarious.
Debbie at 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. And she will answer all your Medicare questions. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
All right, welcome back, everyone. 21 minutes after the hour, I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show. By the way, Debbie from I Will Advisors can help you no matter where you are in the state of Florida, from the Panhandle to Key West and everywhere in between. Open enrollment's right around the corner. Debbie at I Will Advisors can help you with your Medicare no matter where you are in the state of Florida. So give her a call at 954-753-8080, regardless of where you are in Florida, okay? 954-753-8080. She takes care of Steve's Medicare every year. All right, we're going to go back to the phones. 1-888-GO. Kane 1 is the number. 888-465-2631. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name?
Al.
Oh, Liberal Al. How you doing, Al?
Yeah. All right. Talking about injustice. The woman, Dawn Bancroft.
Anne Bancroft?
Dawn, not Anne Bancroft. Dawn Bancroft. She January 6th, she videotaped herself stating that she wanted to shoot
Okay. Well, then if she did that, she'll be prosecuted.
This is going to be just a misdemeanor now. It's a felony to threaten.
Well, I don't know. I've never heard of her before. So what's your point? What's your point? I'm against people doing such a thing is a crime, and I don't support that, and I'm opposed to it. And that a person who does that should be arrested, charged, and tried. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't understand what your point is, Al.
My point is, you're saying there's no insurrection. They're subpoenaing 15 people now. It was 4.
Listen, they have arrested hundreds of people, and many of the cases have already been dealt with, like the Viking shaman has already been sentenced. Not one person, Al, has been charged with insurrection. To have an insurrection, you must have insurrectionist, right? How do you have an insurrection without insurrectionist? Can you explain that?
Well, charged. Yes.
No one has been charged. No, excuse me. No one has been charged with insurrection or even treason or any of these things. Tell me how do you have an insurrection without insurrectionist? Explain that.
Okay. The day will come where people...
No, the day has... Listen, January 6th. Here we are. You've got February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. We're going to be in October tomorrow. Okay? We are almost 9 months out and not one person charged with insurrection. Can you have an insurrection if you do not have insurrectionist?
When Mo Brooks...
No, that's a question. That's not an answer. When someone asks a question, you don't respond with another question. There are necessary ingredients to everything, right? If you make a pizza, there's ingredients that you got to have or it's not a pizza. If I say I'm making a pizza, right, but instead I have Jell-O gelatin and I make Jell-O gelatin, it's not a pizza, it's Jell-O. There's a necessary ingredient for an insurrection. That is insurrectionist. And by the way, this is the Justice Department of Joe Biden have not charged anyone with insurrection. So you've got this Merrick Garland guy as your AG. They've not charged one person with an insurrection. How do you have an insurrection without insurrectionist?
The day will come.
The day will come. Someday, and you'll get a girlfriend one day too.
I have a question for you. You there?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I got caught off for a second.
Not yet.
You're not prepared.
It's coming.
You're not prepared for the day that will come soon that Trump will be indicted for multiple cases.
Oh, when is that going to be? Yeah, I mean, just a couple months ago, you were telling me that Matt Gaetz was going to be brought up on sex charges. I saw him tearing up Millie yesterday, holding the Woodward book up. What happened to that?
Well, you know what's great about him is
that he did nothing wrong.
When he runs for re-election, he's going to lose.
Oh, Matt Gaetz, Florida District 1, he's going to lose. But that had nothing to do with the question. You told me a couple months ago he was going to be charged with having sex with an underage prostitute. What happened to that?
That's the case still working.
That's still working. Oh my goodness.
DeSantis said something like Australia. Did you catch his comment about Australia?
Oh, it's funny that you say that. I have the audio. Let me play it. Yes. The greatest... Let me...
Audio. Play your audio.
Oh, well, thank you for giving me permission. The great Governor Ron DeSantis of the great state of Florida was talking about Australia, which has now been turned yet again into a penal colony. This is Governor DeSantis on Australia.
What's going on in Australia right now, they're enforcing, after a year and a half, they're still enforcing lockdowns by the military, and that's not a free country. It's not a free country at all. In fact, I wonder why we would still, have the same diplomatic relations when they're doing that. I mean, is Australia freer than China, communist China right now? I don't know. The fact that that's even a question tells you something has gone dramatically off the rails.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so what's your point? He's right on the money.
Okay, the population of Australia is 24 million people, which is 3 million more people than Florida. The amount of people who died from COVID in Florida is 52,000. The amount of people who died from COVID in Australia is a whopping 1,250 people. Now, do the math on that. Who's doing a better job of keeping people safe from the pandemic? Australia or...
Well, so Australia has had their entire country locked down for a year and a half. Florida has never been closed. Okay, so but I think Ron DeSantis is doing a better job. So are you suggesting that Ron DeSantis murdered these people? He's going around giving people COVID?
He doesn't want masks in schools. He wants to stop people from having.
That's a lie. That's a lie. No, that's a lie. Ron DeSantis said, Al, that masks should be optional in school.
They shouldn't be optional. Just like when you go into a restaurant, there's no more.
They shouldn't be optional. When you send your kids to school, do they wear a mask? Do your kids wear a mask to school?
Will you go into a restaurant?
Oh, you don't have kids. I forgot. That's not true. I did remember you have kids. You gonna tell people how to raise their kids now? What do you know about raising kids? You've never had one.
I helped raise my stepbrother. Okay.
You helped raise your stepbrother. Oh, that's a new one. I haven't heard that one in your 40 years of calling the Steve Kane Show. All of a sudden, you raised your stepbrother. What happened? Your parents were neglectful parents, and you had to pick up the slack.
Oh, I helped raise his father passed away. When he was 10.
Wow. Let me get out the violins, people.
I think I did a pretty good job. He's the dean of a high school in Boynton Beach.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's 5 years younger than you.
Yeah. So you didn't raise any children or send kids off to school. Ron DeSantis didn't say people can not wear masks in school. People can wear masks in school all damn day, if they want. If you're a student in school, if you're in school and you wear glasses and you cannot see the board without your glasses, how do you see the board if you're wearing a mask resulting in your glasses being fogged up? You can't see. How do you learn if you can't see? I'm asking you. You require glasses to see the board. You're a kid in school. And you're learning long division that day, but you're forced to wear a mask. Your glasses are fogged up. You can't see the board. How do you learn if you can't see?
If you got proper social distancing, you can take it. You can.
No. You're saying that masks should be. You said that masks should not be optional in school. They should be required. And I'm just asking you, okay? When a kid is wearing a mask and their glasses are fogged up and they can't see the board, how are they supposed to learn?
By a better math.
Better math, but they can't see the lesson on the board. They need glasses to see, and unfortunately, you're requiring them to wear a mask, and it's like trying to look out the shower door while the hot water's on. The glasses are fogged up.
You know, I'm really looking forward to watching the political career of DeSantis go down the toilet in 2022. He's not going to get reelected.
Oh, really? Yeah, who's running against him? Charlie Crist you got running against him.
And Nikki Fried.
Who?
Nikki Fried.
Who?
She's the Nikki Fried.
Yeah, I know who she is, but nobody else does.
Well, you have yourself a great day. I thank you.
Every day's a great day when I'm not talking to you. Let me take one more call and then we'll break. Good morning. One opening on the board. You're on the radio.
Hi, this is George Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, George.
Yeah, Sirhan was a supporter of Bobby Kennedy until Kennedy said that we should support Israel, and that's when he assassinated.
Oh, really? Isn't that something? Wow. Wow. So a Palestinian anti-Semite? I've never heard that stated. I mean, I knew he was Muslim, knew he was Palestinian, but I've never heard that actually said. I've read a lot about Bobby. Now, you were alive then and lived through it, right? That's how you know, because let me tell you, I have read a lot about Bobby Kennedy. I've watched many documentaries, and they never tell you why he did it. And now I know why they don't tell you. It doesn't fit their narrative.
Yeah. So that's historical.
If you weren't there at the time, you wouldn't know.
Well, yeah. I was there and I heard the news report, and it was said, Bobby Kennedy said, I think, quote, I think we should support Israel, unquote.
Oh, man.
And that's when Sirhan, I'm not sure Sirhan was Palestinian, it could have been Egyptian.
No, he was, I've read many times, now maybe I'm wrong, but I've read many times he was Palestinian, but I could be wrong. I stand to be corrected on that, but that's interesting. Wow, anti-Semitism. He died because he stood up for Israel. The right to exist, Bobby Kennedy, is what you're telling me. First time I've heard that, actually. Hey, take care. Thanks for the call. If you're on hold, don't go anywhere. We'll take our break for the bottom of the hour. Come back with your calls at 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. There is only one opening on our board right now at 1-888-465-2631.
Here, the hot weather, it's in the mid-90s in the middle of the day, and that's what the actual temperature is. The heat index, much higher than that. That means your air conditioner is going to work harder and harder, driving up your electric bill. And on the line, we have Scott from Cut My Kilowatts, who's going to save you big, big money on your electric bill. Tell them how you're going to do it, Scott.
Hey, Brian. Well, we do it with the radiant barrier installation and making sure that none of your air conditioning ducts are leaking into your attic. But I have Rebecca on the line with me, who's a longtime Steve Kane listener, and we had the pleasure of going up and doing a whole attic package for her at her house on Wednesday of this week. And we put all new ducts in for radiant barrier and all new insulation. And she just wants to tell you how her experience was.
Good morning. I wanted to let you know that this morning, first of all, the people that came out, his crew, were very, very polite. And they did the work. It's a very difficult job to go up in an attic, pull out all the old ducts, come in and put in all new ducts, extra additional ducts to make my system work better. I'm in the construction industry. I'm an architect, so I'm familiar with what the cost should be and how much time it takes to do everything. And let me tell you, I was very impressed. And my attic looks like a spaceship up there with all new ducts. They took out the metal duct that was insulated and leaking on my ceiling, and they put in flex duct, which is what we use now in the industry. But let me tell you, what I paid for the entire package should have cost just to remove the old ductwork and install new ductwork, and I got everything for less than what I thought.
Well, that's amazing. And when Scott from Cut My Kilowatts brings that radiant barrier into your attic, it pays for itself, because what it does, it cools off your ceiling, cools off your attic, keeps that hot Florida heat that's well over 100 degrees in your attic off of your air conditioning ducts, which means your air conditioner works less to keep your house cool and comfortable for you, which means you have lower electrical bills. It works. Listen, guys, give Scott at Cut My Kilowatts a call. His number's listed at SteveKaneShow.com, as is his website if you miss it. His number, which rings directly to him, 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500. That's Scott from Cut My Kilowatts.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on Heart Radio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, 36 minutes after, I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. What a beautiful day outside. All right, let's go back to the phones. Good morning, you're on the radio.
Yeah, John, that 2000 in Florida has got to be a totally bogus figure.
I don't know.
Well, first of all, the COVID probably can show up as a...
Well, first off, John and Okeechobee, you're making a really big mistake here, okay? You're making a big mistake here. You're taking Liberal Al as a credible person and actually trying to debunk something he says. He debunks himself with every syllable of every word.
Like so many more liberals, so good God.
Yeah.
Jesus. Well,
Yeah. You know, a scary thing. I remember the first time I met that guy. He was wearing like a 3-piece suit with like a pocket watch. He was all fancy and everything. It was very strange. First time I met him, many years ago. I was like 20 years old. Yeah. Pinstripe. 3-piece suit. Oh wow. Well, was it polyester?
Years ago.
What?
There's a real suit.
Wow. All right. Take care, man. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Good morning, Brian.
Hey, Andrea. One opening on the board at 1-888-GO-CANE. What? How you doing, Andrea?
So, the woman that Liberal Al was talking about, she's a gym owner in Pennsylvania. She got charged with trespassing. 6 months in jail and then 4 months for saying what you said about Nancy Pelosi.
Uh-huh.
So she was not charged with insurrection. She was charged with trespass.
See, this isn't me saying this. This is Biden's Attorney General and Justice Department saying this. And believe me, if they're desperate, they're so desperate they try to do a redo with FedFest a couple weeks ago. If they could charge anyone with insurrection and get a conviction, they would do it. They only need one, and they haven't been able to do it.
They cannot, because nobody was doing an insurrection. Nobody, right, in order to do that, you're going to need something more than your cell phone, I would think.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah. Well, you know, everybody was unarmed, but, you know, I started the show, I was talking about, the great governess of South Dakota, Kristi Noem. They've been trying to really slander her this week. First, they accused her of misusing her office to get her daughter's real estate license. Now they're saying that she had a extramarital sexual relationship with Corey Lewandowski. She says it's ridiculous and absurd and just a slander. You know, there's something going on. The left are on the move against Kristi Noem.
Well, of course, because to be honest with you, she might be a viable candidate for vice president.
Mm-hmm. Or president one day.
Here's the thing. It's pretty rich that the left, who has somebody who got horizontal to go vertical in order to be the vice president, it's pretty rich that they're hurling accusations at Chris.
No, but see, Kristi Noem allegations far worse because Kamala Harris was not married, only her boyfriend was.
Well,
let me tell you something. If Kristi Noem was going to have sex with a man other than her husband, it wouldn't be Corey Lewandowski, I don't think. And I like Corey Lewandowski. Don't get me wrong. He's a good guy, and I love him. But come on, Kristi Noem has the pick of the litter.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
I want to point out something else Liberal Al said.
Yes.
Australia and their numbers. If you're not interacting with people, of course the COVID numbers are going to be low. But you know what's really high in Australia? The suicide numbers.
Yeah.
There it's that.
Well, yeah. And Australia, we've got a lot of listeners in Australia here on the Steve Kane Show, a lot. And on my podcast, too. I mean, huge numbers of listeners in Australia, and I feel for you guys. But, you know, a few years ago, they had a big gun control. They grabbed all the guns a few years ago in Australia. This type of totalitarianism has been going on for a long, long time in Australia.
This is what I thought about coming home this morning. So they're talking about...
Coming home this morning? Where were you all night?
Well, Brian, I teach boot camp.
You were... okay. You work at night.
In the morning.
Oh, okay.
Now.
Okay. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Of course you are.
When a woman says she's coming home in the morning, we don't assume it's from work, you know.
No, it is for work. It is for work. So now they're saying that there's more immigrants heading towards Del Rio.
Yeah, Haitians. 20,000.
No, more than that. 60,000, they're saying.
How many Haitians are there? It's a tiny little place, Haiti. My goodness.
Well, here's what I was thinking, and I just wanted to get your take on it. So far, with all these illegals, what, believe it or not, what the grift really is they're coming here with diseases that have not existed in this country for years. Now there's measles outbreaks, there's leprosy. So you're talking about infectious diseases in perpetuity.
Well, this has been a big problem for years on the southern border. See, these things like measles and chickenpox and others that we've eradicated involve a lot of inoculations and vaccinations that start when newborns are in the hospital. You're always taking your kid to the doctor to get their shots, and you just can't, and they don't get them in these third world countries, and you just can't give them to them when they cross the border. It takes years for these things to work and get effect. And they've had a lot of chickenpox and measles outbreaks in public schools and when Obama was president because of his open border policies. Absolutely.
Think about it. It's 10 times worse now than Obama, who is backing the Democratic Party.
Yeah. Now, maybe you know the answer to this question because this is a big problem too. When you cross the border, do you know how old you are? This is not a riddle. I know it sounds like one. When you
can be any age
that you want to be. Yes. And what happens a lot of times is a lot of these men, adult men, claim that they're 15 or 16, and then all of a sudden you've got 40-year-old men. This has happened with gray hair in middle school and in high school with children. It happens all the time throughout this country with illegal immigration. You're as old as you say you are.
So look at this now. Now the new thing is, if you're pregnant, which means you don't have to take a pregnancy test, you can just say that you're pregnant.
Yeah.
Then being able to be pregnant.
That's right.
Then there's that.
In fact, I was talking about this the other day with the Haitians coming across the southern border. They're letting pregnant women through. They do no pregnancy test. You just have to say you're pregnant, and it's amazing. The largest number of pregnant women in history are coming across the southern border. Every woman's pregnant. It's amazing. Every woman's pregnant down there. Can you believe? I know, it's insane. Who would have thought?
Fascinating. It is that.
Yeah. All right, Andrea, I got to run, but thanks for the call. Take care. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Hi, Brian. It's Ben from Pompano.
Hey, what's up?
How you doing? I had a quick question for you. I wanted to know if, why do you think people, between the fact that, and it's a COVID question, I know you've been trying to stay away from those. Is that all right if I ask one?
Quick, I think people are COVID out and don't really like to hear people talking about COVID, because I know when I the local news, that's all they do. When I hear COVID, I'm out. But yeah, ask me a quick question. I may answer it or may just move on.
I think Fauci came out yesterday and said now you're not vaccinated unless you have the third dose. The fact that they don't count natural immunity.
Nah, I'm already falling asleep. I used this example last week, and it may have been with you, okay? A friend of mine got a job at a talk radio station in Las Vegas. This is a true story. And first thing they told him before he went on the air is, don't talk about gambling. Las Vegas talk radio listeners don't want to hear anyone talking about gambling. Same thing with COVID. And now maybe I'm wrong, but I think we're COVID out. I don't think anyone likes to talk about it. I don't find it interesting. I find it rather boring. And when I'm on the news and they start talking about COVID, that's what the clicker's for. I'm out. And I don't want people to do that listening to me on the radio. Even though there's nothing else on the radio to listen to. This is the best radio show on the radio dial. There's no doubt about it. But there's no competition for this program. We're that good. But, you know what I'm talking about?
Structure bill where per mile. Have you heard of that?
Yeah. We're somewhat that in the first hour of the show. What they're going to do is turn your private vehicle into a taxi cab, where you're going to have to pay the federal government for the miles you drive in your own vehicle. Yeah, isn't that brilliant? Isn't that lovely? We're all going to be Uber drivers for ourselves now. We're all going to be cabbies. We'll all be cabbies. I'll get the yellow hat and everything. I'll be a cabbie.
just don't know, like, how...
This is the deal, okay? Do you know the Matrix movies? Okay, the Matrix, the first Matrix movie, this reboot they're doing looks awful. I saw the trailer. Oh my goodness. If they're doing what I think they're doing, it looks awful. The first Matrix movie, if you remember, what humans were was an energy source to power the computer system of the Matrix, okay? That movie is a political movie. People say red pilled now. When you get red pilled, you're out of the Matrix. That comes from the fact that the Matrix is a very conservative Republican movie against liberalism. What you and I are to Nancy Pelosi and the government, do you know what we are?
Just batteries?
Well, batteries, no. Well, similar. Political batteries? No. Well, what we are to the people of the country, what we are to the federal government and to the liberals, we are organisms that excrete money in the form of tax revenues for them to pay for all their crap to their donors. We're in the Matrix. We excrete money to pay them. That's what we are. That's all we are, an organism that excretes money. And that's what we are to them, you know? Like fish in a fish tank excrete something. We're in the Matrix. And I got to tell you, you know, that one scene in the Matrix where the one guy's talking to the agents and says, I want to go back in the Matrix? You know, and when I first saw that, I'm like, is he out of his mind? But sometimes I say to myself, I want to be back in the Matrix. You know? Sometimes.
I can't unsee it now, but I don't know.
I know the producers of The Matrix deny that movie is about but they're lying because it'd be bad for their business. But yeah, The Matrix. Listen, I got to run for a break. I'm sorry, but it's 10 before 8. If you're on hold, stand by. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back.
Steve Kane Show is sponsored by I Will Advisors, specializing in senior solutions. Seniors, Medicare open enrollment is approaching. Call Debbie at I Will Advisors and schedule your free, no-obligation appointment to discuss all your Medicare options. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
If you suffer with diabetes, there's a 25% chance that you'll develop a foot ulcer that can lead to severe health consequences, including amputation. At the sole authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own therapeutic shoes and custom inserts. Medicare recipients are entitled to 1 pair of quality diabetic shoes and 3 custom inserts. Call the sole authority today, 954-597-7060.
This is Brian Craig. I've been telling you about the great deals and incredible customer service at Friendly Tire on both new tires and used tires. One of our listeners, Antonio, went to Friendly Tire and called to share with us his experience of buying used tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Good morning, you're on the radio.
Hey, yes, Brian, I want to give you a quick testimony about the tire place up in Margate, Friendly Tire. Friendly Tire is everything you said it would be, man. I went up there and got me some used tires, and when I went up there, man, he was very courteous. My whole family's going for now, man. Everything you said it was going to be, man. I appreciate you for that, man. And Mike's a great guy, man.
Well, what's your name?
Antonio.
All right, Antonio. Hey, I'm glad we could save you and your family lots of money on tires at Friendly Tire.
Oh, no doubt, man. Thanks so much, man.
Do what Antonio did. Stop into Friendly Tire and find incredible deals on both new and used tires. Give Friendly Mike a call right now. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. And Mike will give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just
Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name?
Brian, good morning.
Hey, how you doing? Good. Augustino, how you been, Augustino?
I've been doing good, just watching the news about old Millie.
Yeah.
Where is the Bob Woodward? How come he doesn't come out and, kind of like...
He was on TV last night defending Millie. I got a story about that here. I'll pull it up. Hold on, I was going to get to that later. But he was on...
He's actually, is he on CNN or some other...
He was on CNN with Jake Tapper. And he was defending Milley. He said that Milley thought Trump might cause another Pearl Harbor. What, is that a sneak attack on Hawaii? I don't know what that means, but you know what? It's not Milley's business if Trump was going to attack China, you know? Wasn't his business. He's just supposed to follow orders when it comes to that. It's not his business to get involved in that.
It's so jarring. Thick. I don't know. He must be crazy.
Bob Woodward has always been a part of the deep state, okay? And Bob Woodward, of course, is famous for Watergate. And we found out when he died who Deep Throat was. He was a guy named Mark Felt who, when J. Edgar Hoover died, thought he should become the FBI director. And he was passed over. So he was pissed off. And he knew Bob Woodward. Bob Woodward was a Yalie. And he was stationed in D.C. in the Navy. And he had the job of taking, like, the documents from the Department of the Navy to the White House every evening. And Mark Felt had the same job for the FBI for a while. And they got to know each other on the bench out in front of the office at the White House. And when Watergate happened, he just started giving stuff to his old friend Bob Woodward. None of these lies in the movie where he was meeting a guy in a garage and putting pieces of tape or a flag on the balcony. That's all lies. You know, Bob Woodward is part of the liberal ruling elite of the Beltway. He always has been. Don't buy this Robert Redford portrayal that he was the local crime reporter who just stumbled across something during a bail hearing. You know, and he's always been out there. And if I don't know what he means, because Tapper didn't seem interested to get to the details when he said Trump was going to cause another Pearl Harbor. You know, they've been talking all week, Milley, about how China was terrified that Trump was going to attack them. Notice Trump, not the United States. I like how Milley says that. But and we've had some very good yesterday, like some very good House members like Gates asking great questions. But none of them asked the key question. Why did China think Trump would attack them? Why did they think the United States was going to launch an attack against them? And by the way, even Milley, I haven't heard anyone say unprovoked attack. I hadn't even heard Milley say that China was afraid that President Trump would order an unprovoked attack against them. Like that would be like Pearl Harbor, unprovoked attack. And of course, the answer to that question is obvious. You guys know what I'm talking about. There's a reason why they would fear an attack from the United States, but no one wants to get into it.
His business of what the president wants to launch. If he wants to launch an attack, it's up to him.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And he's not, General Milley doesn't have all the information the president has access to. He has a lot of the information. He has access to a lot of the information, but not all of it. He's not fully in the loop.
They're so stupid.
Yeah.
What about Woodward? I didn't know he went on CNN.
Yeah, he went on CNN and defended Milley. Milley's a hero. I guess he wants to defend his sources so other people will. I don't know why anyone would talk to Bob Woodward. I would never talk to Bob Woodward. You know who really hates Bob Woodward, I think? You know who hates Bob Woodward more than anyone? More than anyone, who hates Bob Woodward?
Do you think he's ever...
Carl Bernstein. I don't think they like each other. I read, a couple years back, I read All the President's Men for the first time. I've seen the movie a bunch of times, but I read the book because Peter Strzok and Lisa Page were saying that was their guidebook. So I said, well, let me read it. And it's a really good book. It is. But in the book, Bob Woodward's griping about how Bob Woodward was Yale. He had everything handed to him. He was part of this insiders club that he wasn't a member of. Even in that book, All the President's Men from back then, he was pissed. He hates Bob Woodward, and he knows him better than any of us. It is.
I'm learning more stuff today than I did yesterday.
That's right. Hey, listen, Agostino, take care, man. Now, I got to tell you guys, huge announcement from Mike Lindell, the Thomas Edison of sleep at MyPillow. Now, Mike Lindell's up against the ropes, man. They're trying to bankrupt him. They're trying to bankrupt his company because he stands for Trump. He stands for MAGA. He's got the Frank speech going. He's been kicked out of like 70 retailers. He's even been knocked off QVC, the online. Yeah, been knocked off the QVC. He used to be on QVC all the time. I know. Well, listen here. There's an incredible new special at mypillow.com, and I called them up and I asked them if they could make this special available with our promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, so that those of you in the Steve Kane listening audience could take advantage of. This is it. This is absolutely amazing. Now, to get this deal, you go to mypillow.com and you click on the television specials. See, we're on television. We're not just on radio and the internet. We're on television because on our YouTube live stream, I know there were some of you watching me on your TVs at home, right? That's right. So go to mypillow.com, click on the television specials, and you will see this special, which is amazing. But you've got to use our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. Now, you've heard me talking with my wife about our MyPillow mattress topper. Get this. When you go to mypillow.com and click on the radio listener specials and use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, you can get the MyPillow mattress topper for 50% off. 50% off the MyPillow mattress topper. Go to it's a great deal. It was 30%. Now you get 50% off. But you've got to use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. So go right now to mypillow.com. Click on the television specials. You'll see it. There's a great picture of Mike Lindell on TV right there from Frank's speech. You click that on, boom, you will see it. 50% off the MyPillow mattress topper, but you've got to use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. 2 hours down, 1 hour to go. We'll be right back. The third and final hour of the month. Tomorrow's the 1st. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we'll be right back.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Hi, my name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting,
Steve Kane Show.
Roofing and Restoration. We have been
Hey, Barry.
in the roofing and construction industry since 1982. We are state of Florida certified roofing and general contractors focusing on residential and commercial roofing, impact windows, and building restoration. The 2021 hurricane season is upon us. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or if your roof is older than 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Call us at 954-604-4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll-free, dial 1-888-GO-KANE 1. That's 1-888-GO-KANE. And now.
All right, 1 minute after 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show. You with us, Steve? Oh, pretty much. Okay, well, that's good. Hey, pretty much is more with it than Liberal Al was earlier. All right, well, before we... You didn't miss anything, Steve. It was Liberal Al's call, okay? And I apologize for putting him on the radio. But the calls are screenless. But it's time to check in with attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Hey, Barry, good morning.
Good morning. How you guys doing today?
We're doing great.
So, a couple things. One thing is we have our next
group of seminars coming up pretty soon. It's going to be October 26th. In fact, we're doing, in the morning, we're going to do the Living Trust seminar at 10 a.m. And in the afternoon at 2 p.m., we're going to be doing the Medicaid. So we're going to cover both topics on that same day. People are welcome to come. It's free. You just need to register to come. It's going to be where we've had it the last few months at the South County Civic Center in Delray Beach. So, for example, in the morning, we're going to talk about everything you need to know about Living Trust, powers of attorney, healthcare documents, everything you need to do to have peace of mind that you have a plan that's going to work to take care of you and your loved ones. In the afternoon, we're going to talk about Medicaid, which is really how you're going to save your money from the high cost of long-term care if you don't have sufficient long-term care insurance. So if you are interested, please make sure to give us.
Yeah, and I know what you're saying. It's October. What was the date, Barry?
Yes, October 26th.
Okay, now I know you guys are saying, oh, October 26th, I got plenty of time. Let me tell you, these workshops with Attorney Barry Siegel and the Siegel Law Group have been filling up. So they do call and ask that you make a reservation, and I would tell you, you should call today and make the reservations for these workshops, because it's sad, but they've had to turn people away because the rooms have been full. So I'm going to give you this number to the Siegel Law Group. You call and let them know. They'll give you detailed directions and everything on how to get there, but you want to lock in your spot here early on, I'm telling you. The number is toll-free, 855-FLA 3782, 855-FLA 3782, and online SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, we will finish out the week and start a new month tomorrow. All right, take care. All right. Oh, man, so all hell's breaking loose. All hell's breaking loose.
And I must confess I overslept today.
Oh, that happens.
Kind enough to just give me a little brief, a couple things from the talk.
Well, I just let me sprinkle in a couple new things, and then we'll do some review, because I got stuff I haven't touched on yet. But I thought, well, I don't know, but they had the Republican Democrat baseball game last night, right? Yeah. Well, Biden decided to show up, and things did not go well. Listen to this. Yeah, you're not going to see this on TV, but luckily people recorded this on their cell phones. This is the sounds of the stadium when Biden walked into the House baseball game last night. Listen. Wow. And I don't know. Yeah, and I don't know, but I'm guessing that a huge number of the people in attendance are friends and family of the members of Congress. It's a hot ticket. So there's the friends and family of the members of Congress that are booing and saying you suck, and I'm guessing people will yeah, don't worry, we'll play it again. Let's play it again now. Hold on. People love it so much. They want to hear it again, Steve. Hold on. That's my favorite one. Oh my gosh. But now since these are mostly friends and family of members of Congress, now this is just a guess because I don't know. Yeah. Well, I would think a lot of those people booing, including the guy that said you suck, could be Democrats pissed off that he hasn't been able to get this bill passed. Because the Democrats are not happy about this bill not being passed yet. There's a lot of panic going on.
A lot of anger, a lot of fighting.
They tried to bribe Sinema yesterday, and I guess they whatever they offered her wasn't enough because she's still on the right side of it, Sinema.
I think they're a lot short. Everybody tries to indicate that it's all up to Sinema and who's the other guy? The
Manchin.
Manchin.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that those are not the only two that they're having a problem with. I think they can get around any two. I think there's a lot of people that have informed them that they're not going to go for it. And then they've got their biggest problem is the squad and the extreme.
And Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders said don't vote for it either. Yeah.
It's not a big help. They can't move their own.
Yeah.
On the chessboard.
Well, yeah. Well, over on The View, the Coven on The View, they're very upset at Sinema and Manchin. This is Joy Behar, and talking about Sinema and Manchin not supporting this bill.
But the Democrats have the numbers to make it happen. But Manchin and Sinema are standing in their way.
Now, how do the Democrats have the numbers to make it happen if they haven't passed it? She says they have the numbers to make it happen, that they don't, or they would have passed it. So I don't know what she's in la la land, but anyway.
She does not look too happy nowadays.
To make it happen. But Manchin and Sinema are standing in their way.
Especially Sinema.
They call themselves Democrats, and they will be the ruination of this nation. Those two. First of all, Joe...
The ruination of this nation. Oh.
is never going to vote for climate change things because he gets $500,000 a year from coal production. Kristen Sinema she went to some kind of I don't know what it is. She went to a fundraiser scheduled this week with business lobbying groups that fiercely oppose Biden's social and climate spending bill. They don't want their taxes to be raised, and she's on their team. These people are destroying the country, in my opinion. We are so in trouble, and I don't know if people understand how dire the situation is. If Joe Biden loses, if the
Listen to this.
lose, the Republicans, who are so corrupt right now, and we all know that, they will move in. Trump will run in 2024. Cannot let this happen. Manchin and Sinema must be brought to task. They are the enemies right now of the democracy.
Let's see, they're Sinema and Manchin, because they won't vote as they're ordered to by Biden, are the enemies of democracy.
For all the bribe money.
That's right. They won't take bribes. Biden tried the bribes. Any word on if he sniffed Sinema's hair yesterday when she met with him at the White House? I don't know. But you should see her before she had her makeover. Oh my gosh, you wouldn't even recognize her. She was very frumpy. Yeah, now she's all fat, she's all hip now, but yeah. And she's gay now or something, or bisexual or something. But because they won't take the bribe money from the donors, they're the enemies of democracy, because democracy means you take bribes from donors and vote how they wish you to vote. Oh my gosh, they're in a panic. And I don't know why Joy Behar hates coal. How do they get electricity in New York City to power her studio that she does her show from, and her high-rise mansion too, apartment? I would imagine it's got to come from a coal plant somewhere.
Say a vote of some kind?
Yeah, I don't know what the vote is today. Pelosi said she won't bring it to a vote if they can't pass it.
And we got to pray. I mean, the Republicans have a way of folding at the end historically.
Yeah. They're going to pass something.
And to tell you, it was kind of a reflex action. I'm not sure, because they're not sure. They're not sure of their own people. This is Democrat against Democrat.
Yeah.
With these people, it's so tight and so close, the vote, that a couple people that decide they want to be rebels, like the Squad, and the Squad's basically controlling the vote now.
Yeah. Well, them passing this. I was talking to Richie earlier. This is a good thing for us in a way if they pass it, because it's going to turn people so against them.
I mean, you're talking about destroying the country for decades.
Well, to save it with President Trump.
They can do a lot of damage, though. They can do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Elections this year, and if we emerge strong from those elections, we can limit.
Yeah. Well, and I saw today too. This is an interesting story. Kamala Harris has hired a crisis management team for herself. Yeah.
That's one of the few things they've said that I believe.
Well, they didn't get into details of what they're trying to do, but my guess is they're trying to distance her from Biden's failures. That would be the crisis, right? That the Afghanistan. Yeah.
The board are trying to distance themselves.
Yeah.
All these endless negative headlines over a period of months or whatever, however long he's been in office.
Yeah.
That's where the payoff is. He loses all his power as his presidential power.
Did you see any of the hearings yesterday with the generals?
I did. I watched a lot of them in the morning, and then in the afternoon, some other things came up.
Yeah. Well, I just have one clip of that. This is Liz Cheney talking to Milley. Okay, this tells you everything you need to know about this lowlife. This is Liz Cheney talking to General Milley. Listen to this crap.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
You know she has the same voice as her father, Liz Cheney. She's his same voice, his same inflections, and she even has his same mannerisms. It's almost like him, you know. With a sex change, you know.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. General Milley, on January 6th, we had a violent attack on our Capitol.
There we go. They're obsessed with the speech.
Many of the members of our constitutional system failed to do their duty. Many of them punted.
Listen to this.
Many of them today are still attempting to obstruct the investigation into that attack, attempting to whitewash what happened. General Milley, you found yourself in your constitutional
Look at this.
prescribed role standing in the breach. And for any member of this committee, for any American, to question your loyalty to our nation, to question your understanding.
Now keep in mind, this is the guy who called up the Chinese army and said, if there's any military action by us against you, I'm going to call you in advance so you can be prepared for the attack.
Role standing in the breach. And for any member of this committee, for any American, to question your loyalty to our nation, to question your understanding of our Constitution, your loyalty to our Constitution, your recognition and understanding of the civilian chain of command is despicable. I want to apologize to members of this committee who've done so, and I want to thank you for standing in the breach.
Standing in the breach?
Including many in this room failed to do so.
So standing in the breach means taking part in a coup, seizing control of the nuclear weapons and the military from the commander-in-chief. That's what she's commending him for doing. Conspiring with Nancy Pelosi to have that was the insurrection. He was the insurrectionist, him and Pelosi. And they had weapons. The Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, Space Force, and the nukes. Oh my goodness. She's just totally written off any support from Republicans around this country. I mean, that is just, who praises Milley? That's like praising OJ. You know? I mean, who would praise Milley?
He's really revealed himself in these hearings.
Really, you think?
I mean, he's a preening peacock, and what came out, which I thought the questioners did very well, he was too busy aggrandizing his place in history
with the interviews
to be worried about a little thing like the Afghanistan war. And he didn't have his.
Yeah.
Whatever.
He loves doing interview. Yeah, well, you know, if Milley loves interviews so much, you're welcome on this program anytime, General Milley. We got some questions for you. You know.
Amazing an amazing real-life example of what they showed. And what's the Burt Lancaster film that we recommend to everybody to see?
7 Days in May.
Don't miss it. It's
not the remake with Forrest Whitaker, the original with Kirk Douglas. Yeah.
Tell me if Kirk Douglas, the bad guy in that is Burt Lancaster, right?
Yes. Yeah.
If that doesn't remind you of Milli Vanilli, I don't know what would.
Yeah. Well, this thing with Millie in these hearings yesterday, the other guy, this Secretary of Defense, it was a really funny thing yesterday. One of them said, "Well, hold on, I got to take a drink of water, Steve. Actually, it's good, but I can't breathe, so we'll break. All right, we'll be right back."
This is Lori Kane, and I'm going to tell you about Brighton Dental Care. I just had a lot of work done. And going to the dentist for a lot of years because I was afraid of the cost. But I went to Brighton Dental for my free consultation, which, by the way, he offers to all Steve Kane listeners. I had 2 cavities. I needed a crown on top.
Live radio.
Bottom. If I were a horse, they would have put me down. So I scheduled my appointment for the next Saturday because Brighton Dental has Saturday appointments available, and they saved me a ton of money.
Man.
And I will be a patient for life. Don't let cost stop you from taking care of your teeth. Brighton Dental gives Steve Kane listeners incredible discounts on all
just needed water.
procedures, just like they gave me. Prices are so reasonable. You don't
I know, I'm falling apart this week.
So call Brighton Dental today.
I choked.
954-922-4630.
Yeah, I just needed water.
That's 954-922-4630.
Not a lot of honey in a radio studio. There should be.
And tell them Lori Kane sent you.
Ryan Craig here. Conservative Doug called me up live on the air to tell me about his experience at Friendly Tire.
2 ball ties in the back of my Infiniti. So I called them up, and I always check prices first. Half the price of everybody else.
Half the price? Half the price at Friendly Tire. Wow.
Half the price, and not only that, his tires, which nobody, the tires I'm looking at, had any mileage guarantee.
Oh my goodness.
60,000 mile warranty. So they're not only half the price, the price is good.
So you're a repeat customer over there at Friendly Tire. You bought new tires, right? So you bought new tires, because they also sell used tires, starting at just $30 for most sizes. But you bought new tires, and they were half the price at Friendly Tire than at the other tire shops around town. That is phenomenal, and came with a 60,000 mile warranty on the tires. That's great. And of course, Friendly Tire, they never charge you to mount the tire, balance the tire, or dispose of your old tires. The prices that they give you are out the door and on the road.
Everybody should go there. I don't know how anybody can buy tires anyplace else. This guy is the best prices.
That's right. That's right. Listen, give Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire a call. His number, 954-977-9445. He'll give you a quote right over the phone, 954-977-9445.
No, I just had to have some water.
You can just stop right in. The address is listed at stevekaneshow.com. 5415 Northwest 15th Street in Margate, and that's just a little north of Coconut Creek Parkway on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Well, Conservative Doug, thanks so much, and I'm glad you got such a great deal on your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Seniors, Medicare open enrollment is quickly approaching. Make sure you get the right coverage. Call Debbie at I Will Advisors, 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Search for WWN.
All right, I'm falling apart this week. We're back. The air popped on, and the vents right over my head, and that's what does me. Did me in. But I'm okay now. I can breathe, but I forgot what I was talking about then, so I have to move on to another topic. Though I did want to play this because I'm trying to figure this out. Nancy Pelosi said something very interesting that is above my ability to understand how this makes sense. This is Pelosi talking about this $3 trillion bill and how I'll play, then we'll talk about it. This is Pelosi yesterday.
Not about a dollar amount. The dollar amount, as the president said, is zero. This bill will be paid for.
Okay, so how does a bill that's $3 trillion cost $0? She said. She says it costs nothing.
She leaves one thing out.
The $3 trillion?
She leaves out the taxes they're getting ready to stick us all with, that are going to bring the economy to a screeching halt. So She doesn't count that.
Oh.
If you don't, once we get finished taxing you, it's free after that.
That's when they say when it's paid for, they mean they've raised taxes to pay for it.
Taxes, exactly. Obviously, they don't hold the intelligence of the public in high esteem.
Yeah.
Because you have to be an idiot not to understand what they're doing, and people are starting to understand, and it remains to be seen whether they're pissed off enough to stand firm.
Well, one of the reporters at the White House made a good asked Pelosi, might as well be Pelosi, asked Jen Psaki a very good question, and she had such a pathetic, desperate response. I'll play it for you in a second, but the reporters are asking Psaki, well, you're not taxing people under $400,000 directly, but the businesses will have to raise their prices to pay for the increased taxes. So let me play this clip. So Jen Psaki, I don't know what economic school they went to, probably outside of Moscow or something.
Moscow.
Exactly. Yeah. So listen to this. This is Psaki yesterday. This is a good one. This was hilarious.
Obviously, the president's commitment remains not raising taxes
Steve
for
Kane
anyone
Show.
Making less than $400,000 a year. There are some, and I'm not sure if this is the case in this report, who argue that in the past, companies have passed on these costs to consumers.
Right.
I'm not sure if that's the argument being made in this report. We feel that that's unfair and absurd, and the American people would not stand for that. But I will take a closer look at this.
You're talking to morons to say things.
I think she believes that. I think she's just. I think she's a lifelong government commie and doesn't get. So for those that don't get it, okay, a business a business's bottom line includes a lot of things, right? Payroll, inventory. They got to pay for the building, the lights, and taxes. And Jen Psaki says, well, traditionally, businesses have passed the taxes on to we believe that's unfair, and the consumers won't stand for it. Well, how are you going to, you need milk. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Do you think?
Thinking but not saying is that exactly that we're going to, how does she, I really don't understand this, to tell you the truth. How does she?
She said it's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair to raise the prices.
They say that to begin with.
Yeah.
I guess they've been saying that all along. That's one place they're consistent.
It's not fair.
It's not fair.
Yeah, it's not fair to raise prices to stay in business. You have to go out of business.
They don't understand the free economy.
That's right.
Simple.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, let's take some calls. They're communist. They just don't understand the capitalist system. All right, good morning. You're on the radio.
Okay, Larry from Dallas.
Hey, Larry.
Hey, I was listening, I flip around YouTube quite a bit, and from 1967 there was a interview of Robert Kennedy, and it was really refreshing and interesting.
Let me tell Steve because you weren't listening earlier, Steve. They let Hinckley off of supervision, right? They're letting Sirhan out too. So we were talking a little bit about this. That's why the Bobby Kennedy call. Yeah, so go ahead, caller.
I've never been a big Bobby Kennedy supporter, but it was the most intelligent conversation I've heard lately, and it was so refreshing and nice.
Well, lately, Bobby Kennedy hasn't had a conversation since 1968. So, so you haven't heard yeah.
The interview by the news media for Bobby Kennedy, I didn't expect what I heard, and it was really good.
Well, what about it? What was really good?
What's that?
What was so good about it? What was Bobby Kennedy saying?
He was reasonable and intelligent, and so it's so nice to listen to that, and you just don't hear it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Fine.
Okay, because he can't really remember signing off. It's like Jerry Witchner.
He was saying in the hearings, this is not your grandpa's old Democratic Party. This is a whole new
Well, what happened, somebody called in, Nick in Baltimore saw an interview online with Bobby Kennedy by Merv Griffin, and he said Bobby Kennedy was talking about, saying the same things Trump says today about different issues. So that's, but you know, we were talking, because this thing was Sirhan. Again, I was not alive when this happened, but I do know he was Palestinian, and everything that I've read a lot about Bobby Kennedy and Sirhan and all this, and I've never read anything that was a motive. And a guy called in a little while ago before you joined us, and he said, because he remembered in '68 it was talked about in the news, Bobby Kennedy came out in support of Israel, and he says that's why Sirhan killed Bobby Kennedy, because he came out in support of Israel. I don't know. I've never really heard a clear motive.
Sirhan was a Palestinian.
Muslim, yeah. That would make sense. But if you read anything about Sirhan, they rarely tell you he's Palestinian. Sometimes they say he's Egyptian. I'm serious. I've read a lot of. The reason I've read so much about it is because anytime it comes up, I'm like, well, why did he do it? They never tell you. Just like James Earl Ray, you never really get a clear idea of what he was all about either. You know, but both of those assassinations, Martin Luther King and Bobby Kennedy, very vague in the motive category. You know. And it just comes up now because Sirhan. Why the hell would they let Sirhan out? I don't know. That makes no sense to me. And John Hinckley's been out for years. He got to move home with that. But what they've changed with John Hinckley is that he is under completely unsupervised release now. He can go anywhere he wants. Yeah, and he doesn't have to check in with anybody. He's a completely free man. And, who else is free? People will know about this. And he might live on the East Coast. I can't swear to that, but I think I read he lives on the East Coast. Jihad Johnny Walker Lynch, the American Taliban, is out, too. I mean, they got these, I don't know. Do they put
pictures of the terrorists
running, yeah.
Go and are now basically moved back in and taken
the
cause.
Yeah. I mean, who's next? Nadal Hassan, he going to get out, get a promotion, lieutenant? It's very strange to me what's going on in the country right now. And, this thing with Jen Psaki, that clip I played, that was the second dumbest thing I've heard a press secretary say at the White House. The first one was Dana Perino. Dana Perino was being interviewed by Don Imus when she was press secretary, and he asked her a question about the Cuban Missile Crisis, and Dana Perino did not know what the Cuban Missile Crisis was. And Imus thought she was joking, right? Don Imus thought she was joking, and she says, well, I'm assuming it has something to do with Cuba and missiles, but, I mean, come on. I mean, that... So that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard from a White House press secretary. Well, this thing with Psaki yesterday, I haven't heard too many people going after her for that stupidity. I mean, that's what businesses have to raise their prices. Businesses have to raise their prices. I was talking to someone yesterday who's in business that the import taxes are killing them right now, And businesses have to make a choice. Do they make money or lose money? And it pains business people to have to raise money when import, that's a tax. When taxes come in, they don't like to raise their prices. Well, but these people aren't in the business of business. They're in the business of socialism and communism. They're in another business.
Realize that you understand it.
Yeah. All right, listen, we're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. It's 31 minutes after. If you're on hold, stand by. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. I'd like to hear some good callers. We've had some very good callers today, but we've had some mediocre ones, too. Liberal Al got through. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Hi guys, it's Dr. Matez. Now that I've joined the Biostation West Delray, we're not just about making you feel good, we're all about making you look good too. Our practitioners are well trained and experienced in the use of Botox, fillers, platelet-rich plasma, microneedling lasers, as well as any modality out there. We even have a Miami plastic surgeon available for the big jobs. We can now make you look good to match the way we make you feel. So if you want to feel good and look good, call us at the Biostation West Delray at 561-320-8893. That's 561-320-8893. And for a limited time only, if you're a Steve Kane listener, 10% off all cosmetic services. And if you happen to be a Steve Kane cruiser, we're going to give you another 10%. That's 20% off all cosmetic services leading up to the Steve Kane cruise.
Hi, my name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry since 1982. We are state of Florida certified roofing and general contractors focusing on residential and commercial roofing, impact windows, and building restoration. The 2021 hurricane season is upon us. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or if your roof is older than 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Call us at 954-604-4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on radio. Just search for www.
Oh man, we got Millie. I'll get to that in just a second, but there is this incredible new special from Mike Lindell at MyPillow. Did you hear me talking about this earlier, Steve? Oh, this is huge, people. This is huge. And I talked to Mike Lindell's office and asked them to make this available to us, and they did. I even checked this morning before this show just to make sure it went into full effect, and it has. Now, you've been hearing me talk about the MyPillow mattress topper that when I wake up on that mattress topper every morning, it is a time of complete serenity. I mean, I'm like on a cloud. I can't, you got to experience it to really understand what I'm talking about. And those of you that have the MyPillow mattress topper, you know what I'm talking about. It's amazing. And there is a new special. Now, when you go to MyPillow.com, click on the television specials. And I got them to include us in the television specials by telling them that we are on television, that many people watch us on YouTube on their televisions. And that's awesome. If you got the YouTube app on your TV, you can do that. So we qualify now for the television specials. And listen to this. So go to MyPillow.com, click on the television specials. You can't miss it. There's a great picture of Mike Lindell on television, okay? And it says television specials. You click it and you will see this special. With our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, you can get the MyPillow mattress topper for 50% off. And I'm telling you, this is going to be a limited time offer. They're going to start running out of the different sizes. Comes in every size, twin, all the way up to California King, Split King, the RV Queen, Queen, and every other size that beds come in. 50% off with the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. So go to MyPillow.com, click on the television specials, and you will see it there. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. 50% off. That's a better deal than I got. 50% off the MyPillow mattress topper when you use our promo code KANE at checkout. That is an incredible deal. Okay, Millie lied to Congress, Steve. And we got him. We got him. We got him. He testified, this week that he briefed Pompeo, the Secretary of State, about his treasonous conversations with the Chinese. Yes. Okay, here's the story. Newsmax TV on their website, newsmax.com. Former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has denied that General Mark Milley informed him that he told his Chinese counterpart that he would alert the Chinese of any impending attack. So Pompeo, who I think, who does not believe Pompeo? He's an honest guy. Milley's a snake. Milley lied to Congress. Isn't that don't they put people in jail for that? Isn't that what they got Roger Stone on?
Well, the problem is the machinery of government is in control of the Democrats. Need somebody to push it through.
Well,
I don't know if they have enough juice to do that.
Well, the midterms are right around the corner.
Oh.
Yeah, what's the statute of limitations on lying to Congress? I mean, that's, Pompeo... No. Lying under oath to Congress. Lying to Congress. I don't know what the statute of limitations is on that, but that's... I don't think anyone would question Mike Pompeo's word. I've never heard any... Maybe they don't like him, but I've never heard anyone question anything that he's had to say. So that is... He lied to Congress. He got busted. Now, I was also talking about earlier, Steve, the Marine Lieutenant Colonel that they arrested for speaking out against the deadly Afghan withdrawal. He is still in jail. He's being held at the Fort Lejeune Brig, and he's going in front of the military judge tomorrow. They have him in a section of the brig where they keep the murderers. Can you believe this? They got him in the section of the jail with the murderers.
Let me surprise you a little bit.
And these are Marine murderers, Steve. This is like a Marine jail.
Something about this that disturbs me, but I know that you will put my mind at ease and my feelings with you, all right? The guy is a hero, the Marine.
Absolutely.
He stood up, everything he stood up for, I believe in. And he was a man of principle. He knew he was going to go to jail.
No, he did not. He thought he knew he would lose his command. He didn't know he was going to go to jail. He thought he'd be relieved of duty.
Thought didn't he ask at one point, he's ready to go to jail?
I get maybe he did. I don't remember. Maybe he did. You could be right about that.
Anyway, let me get back to what I'm saying. As much as I support him, I have to ask the question: if what he does is permitted, where does that leave the military afterwards? In other words, if he can speak out and criticize leadership.
Well, Steve, he made his video. Okay, we're talking about. Well, yeah, but let me fill in some pieces of the puzzle here. We're talking about Lieutenant Colonel Scheller. He spoke out against the Afghan withdrawal, and then he put the video online, and then he resigned. He resigned his commission. Okay? And then then he made some other video, and now they've gone to arrest him. They didn't accept the resignation, I guess. And they went back. Well, you know what? He's
if that's permitted, if they say, "Oh well, okay, you can go on a speaking tour, you can criticize the."
Well, he resigned. He resigned, and Steve, if you have a commander-in-chief in a military responsible for what is, I mean, I don't even know how to describe what the terrorist state of Afghanistan is going to be like under Taliban rule. I mean, it's basically it's not a genocide. Well, if you're speaking out against criminal activities by your leadership, you are obliged to do that as a military officer. That's what the Nuremberg trials were all about, convicting officers who were following illegal orders. Just because an order comes down doesn't mean it's legal or should be followed. He stood up for what he believed in, and then he resigned. And he made a big deal about that. He's 2-3 years from his pension, and he resigns. He made a big deal about that.
Audience who can help me process the part of this that asks, if he gets away with this, what does that do to the discipline for military?
Well, okay. Now, he just got arrested this week. I think they arrested him because they wanted him in jail so he couldn't talk while Millie was testifying. Okay, and they have him in a cell block with murderers. That seems a little intense, Steve. And these are Marine murderers, and well, some of them could be Navy, but these are military murderers. So these are really bad guys he's with. I mean, that's one of the most dangerous places to be. You're in a jail block. You're in a cell block with Marine murderers. Oh my gosh.
Let's just be honest. They did it to discourage others from following in his footsteps. Is that not accurate?
For standing up for what's right. Yes, they don't want more. They don't want other brave officers. Yes, you're correct.
Wait.
What about Colonel Vin? But Steve, what did Vindman do? But I'm not changing the subject. I'm not. Vindman did the same thing he did. Worse.
Let's get back on this guy, not on Vindman.
It's the same story.
Answer the question. Just answer my question. If they permit him to go around making the speaking circuit, saying all these things about the military and military discipline, what is that? Where does that leave the military? How can the Army?
Well, here's the problem, Steve. Here's the problem. Okay, we have two other officers who did very recently worse. Right? You got Vindman, who is also a lieutenant colonel, and he's honored. He didn't get arrested. He didn't go to jail.
He decided he sold out. I don't like Vindman.
But Vindman did a similar thing to this guy, even worse. And Millie.
Then he played ball.
No, he didn't. He took part in he testified in front of Congress in uniform against the commander-in-chief. No, and he's got a fancy book deal now. And Millie conspired with Pelosi and with a coup against President Trump, and he's being praised. So no.
Satisfied with that. If anybody in the audience, before we go out, we have short time left, but still time to take some calls from anybody out there who wants to address my question, because Brian's answer is not satisfying.
Oh.
I mean, I don't.
Sorry.
Military discipline. If people are
okay.
I mean, the fact that he was.
Well, let's take a quick call, Steve, before we break. Okay. Go ahead. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Gentlemen, this is Scott in Kiev. How you doing?
All right, Scott. You got to be quick with it because we're up against a break. But I want to get you on.
Steve, I totally agree with you. I just crossed 19 years in the Army in May, and it doesn't work on a greater scale. Brian, you're also right. They're going to make an example out of this guy because he did this for a national level, thing that was in the media, and he did it to the highest people in Congress. So they're going to come down hard on.
Yeah, but Lieutenant Colonel Vindman did the same thing.
I mean, so you're kind. I mean, I'm not saying he didn't, but you can't use the word guy to accuse this guy. I mean, he knows exactly what he did. He knew he was going to get in trouble, but he had principles.
And he resigned. He resigned, and they still went and arrested him.
So the thing is, Brian, if you're in the military, you're on contract. You can't just say I resigned. You have to put in.
Okay. So what's he doing in a cell block with murderous Marines?
Well, I mean, I can't. I agree with you fully on that.
I mean, why did they put him in that cell block?
I don't agree with that.
Well, why do you think they did it? Why do you think they did it?
It's an easy answer to that question. Because they wish to discourage others from doing the same thing.
Oh, I think they want more than that.
But, Brian, I watched the interview on Newsmax with his parents, and you're right. He did another video, and he talked about it, and at the end of it, he said, I'm ready to go to jail now. And so he knew it was coming.
Exactly right. Now, what do you do? How do you counter that?
Well, he knows that these are corrupt people.
He said he was ready to go to jail, so now he's in jail
with murderers.
Well, where else are they going to put murderers?
They have white collar criminals in the military that steal things, supplies and stuff. I'm sure involved in all kinds of financial crimes of military gear and equipment. They put him in with the most violent prisoners the Navy have. Epstein, that's why I think. But listen, we got a break, and when we get back, it'll be time for the Gold Report, okay? Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.
seniors, Medicare open enrollment is quickly approaching. Make sure you get the right coverage. Call Debbie at I Will Advisors, 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone.
Steve Kane Show. Hold on.
A tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town.
Yeah.
The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive and he will give you a great low price right over the phone at 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net. Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian Steve Kane here, and it's time, Steve, to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the Gold Report. Yeah, William Youngerman, good morning. All right, how are the metals looking today?
Metals are looking stabilized at right at the bottom of the trading ranges yesterday after going down to the support area of 1725 on gold, giving us a great buying opportunity. We saw a lot of buying taking place on the physical gold, and it closed out the day at $1,726.10. Silver breaking that $22 support level the other day, and now it's down to closed out yesterday at $21.52. While platinum was down to $9.49 and palladium closed out today at $1,786. This morning we got a little bit of a rally going. Gold trading up as high as $17.35 so far. Right now it's $17.32. That's up $5.90. Silver's up 8 cents at $21.70 the ounce, while platinum is up $11 at $960, and palladium is up $49 at $1,835 the ounce. So that's pretty much forward.
Yeah, and you know, William Youngerman, yesterday I introduced my daughter to the world of precious metals because, you know, Steve, one of your sons is like Richie Rich because you introduced him to the metals many years ago, and he's a very wealthy young man, and with his metals. And I stopped in yesterday. I got my daughter her first coin yesterday, and I took it home to her. She was so excited. She says, "Wow, it's so heavy." And I said, "Well, it's gold." But you know, I was really amazed at how knowledgeable your staff is over there, William Youngerman. They were very helpful because you know, and they do a good job. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. So listen, William Youngerman, they open up weekdays at 10 a.m. You can stop right in, located here in Boca at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building. You can call them at 800-327-5010, 800-327-5010, and online, WilliamYoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll finish out the week tomorrow. All right, take care, take care. All right, you want to take some calls, Steve? Okay, let's go. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Hi, Joan from Fort Lauderdale. They just had, Sean Hannity just had his parents on the radio the other day, and they said that they have him in isolation, no books, nothing. And
wow.
So they have, they've set up a donation, like a GoFundMe, something like that. Anyways, Hannity is, you know, going to reach out. He's going to do everything he can to help.
Well, let me tell you, Hannity's got no juice. Democrats are running the show right now. He can raise money, I'll tell you that. But this guy, they didn't get any insurrection charges from the Capitol breach. This guy is going to feel the pain of all of that. They're going to throw so much at him, and you surrender a lot of your civil liberties when you join the military. He is going to get the book thrown at him. Yeah. Well, I mean, they put him in a jail block with murderers. That seems intense.
Apparently he's by himself. Nothing like it. Like, what do they call that?
Solitary.
Solitary, yes. Correct.
Oh, no. I would, they still got to let him out, and there's some interaction. It's not, he's done.
Ask me about this. I remember back in the day where, and of course, the left wing, which at one time I was part of, has always been vocal. But I remember a day when lawyers like Kunstler and they had these top lawyers that would come forward and offer their services, and I guess in exchange for the exposure. And then the people who were mistreated in a situation like this would be
like Jerry Spence and these people. Yeah.
Yes, Jerry Spence is the best, and you don't hear that anymore.
They're afraid.
Lawyer.
They're afraid.
Yes, that's what's scary.
They're afraid, and that's why Well, we were talking about this a few weeks ago, Steve, with the January 6th attorneys. They're all third-rate attorneys. I mean, all due respect, but they're not getting the top-tier attorneys because they're afraid of the government.
Stephen, who's the guy that? He was into all these things.
I don't know. Benjamin Crump. I don't think this is his kind of case. Don't think of. What were you saying, Joellen?
These guys, January 6th,
Well, a lot of them have made deals. Like the Viking pled guilty to some lesser charges, got a couple years. He's already done,
For shutting up.
And blaming Trump for everything.
And testifying against Trump.
I just started listening to the show. I don't know if you talked about Matt Gaetz, did you?
Yeah.
When he was drilling Millie and Austin. Oh my God, that was so awesome yesterday.
It was great.
Oh my.
Yeah, and what happened? What happened to those underage sex prostitution charges they were going to have Gaetz up on? It didn't seem like those faded away. Guess they were not true. Like I said, Matt Gaetz was he held up the Woodward book to Millie. It was pretty good, pretty dramatic. People don't understand. I've seen Matt Gaetz up close in person. He is a skinny guy. He's a little guy. He has a big head. I don't mean ego-wise. His head is physically huge. Plus, he put the puffy hair, and then he's got this skinny little body. And he took on 2 4-star generals yesterday. That frumpy Marine general in Millie, and this idiot. Austin, the defense secretary. The funny thing came up yesterday when they pointed out that Biden chose you because you led the withdrawal from Iraq, which we had to go back in with troops and clean up for. Stuff, it's. Yeah.
He gave it to him. Yeah, if we had more people like him in Congress, oh my God.
Well, let me tell you about Austin, and this is I don't blame him. He's an idiot. Austin, I know, but I'm talking about Austin too. Austin is a textbook example of affirmative action, where mediocre people get promoted above their abilities just because of the color of their skin. You put Colin Powell up. Colin Powell's a liberal. You put Colin Powell up against Austin. Give me a break. There's no comparison between the two. I mean, Colin Powell was a great leader. Led us during the Gulf War and everything. You see this Austin, he looks checked out. He doesn't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
All right.
Be on the hot seat, and both of them. I loved it.
Do you think Millie's bothered by that? I think they just are like, these sons of you-know-whats. How dare they,
Are there more hearings today?
I don't know. That Marine general, I mean, does he look like he could pass a physical fitness test to be in the Marine Corps? I mean, what a frumpy guy he is. Well, when I think of a Marine general, I think of, a tough guy. Not some frumpy guy. It's pathetic what they've done to our military. We got one real strong Marine out there, and he's sitting in jail right now, Lieutenant Colonel Scheller. All right, Joellen. Take care. Well, Steve, we're out of time.
That does it for today. Oh, by the way, we're going to start making it a habit on Thursdays and Fridays to tip you off as to Trump's appearances each weekend, so that you don't miss them, because they sometimes don't get the publicity.
What Steve means is that he's going to turn you and me into his TV guide.
Right. Exactly right.
That's right.
And so we'll give a report tomorrow, and you know where to go on the weekends to see Trump's latest.
That's right.
On behalf of our technical director, Tyler Kane, I'm Steve. See you tomorrow. God bless Donald Trump.
Budget and
All right, guys. Hey, listen. Thanks for watching today. I appreciate it. Make sure you like the video if you've not already done that. And if you're new, subscribe. That'd be awesome, right? Okay, guys. Take care. I got to run, but I'll